Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It's Bournemouth versus Manchester United live stream watch along. If you're watching for the match reaction, click the link in the video description. That'll take you straight to the match reaction. This is the live stream for the game. Obviously, we don't know what the result is yet, but I'm going to say quite confidently that it will be a Manchester United win. I am confident that we'll win this game today. We've got to win the game today. That's probably why I feel like that, but we have to win the game today. I think we will win the game today. I mean, when you look at the team news, which should be coming in any second now, so I can talk about something else in a moment. But when you look at the form above both of those teams there, as you can see with United, win, draw, win, loss, draw in our last 5 games. But with Bournemouth, win, draw, win, win, loss. So they've had a very good run. And some of the impressive results for Bournemouth is they've won by 3 or 4 goals away from home twice in the last few games. So they've got lots of goals in them. They don't concede many goals either. So it's a challenge for United. But I think that it is a challenge for United that they really do need to take on board and play in an expansive way. For me, I think is really important in this game. We've got to go more expansive. Now, there's talk that Alexis Sanchez is going to play up front. Back of the net. We'll have some of that. De Gea, Young, Lindelof, Smalling, Shaw, Matic, Fred, Pogba, Mata, Alexis Sanchez, Martial. For me, that is game over. That is game over time. I mean, I feel sorry for Rashford. No Lukaku at all. I mean, what does anybody know what the situation is with Lukaku? That's the interesting thing that I would say is, I mean, it was rumoured that he hadn't travelled. Maybe Jose will say that he's carrying an injury. I mean, there's talk in the Daily Star that Lukaku is furious, having been dropped by Mourinho, which we never thought we would have scored. But very, very pleased with that starting lineup. I'll have to change it in a minute, so I've got one player out. But we shouldn't have been changing a winning team. I think Rashford's slightly unlucky, but my thirst to see Sanchez up front sort of soothes that disappointment. I think Sanchez up front makes us. I mean, that is ideal. Martial, Sanchez, and Mata as a front three with Pogba, Fred behind them, and obviously Matic just sitting there. It makes for a fantastic opportunity for United, and I'm very, very excited to see how we're going to get on. Very, very excited to see how we're going to get on. Comfortably, the best team that we could go with at the moment. Pereira not even on the bench again, says JJ. Look, I'm still Mourinho out. I can't move away from that. I'm still Jose Mourinho out. I want him to go. And there are still decisions that he makes that baffle me. And if you look at the bench, it's shit. Romero, Darmian, Jones, Herrera, McTominay, Lingard, Rashford. So you've got Donkey McTominay, you've got Phil Jones, and you've got Darmian. Half our bench is crap. And then you've got Lingard, Rashford and Herrera. There's always a good and a bad side. But the starting team, De Gea, Young, Lindelof, Smalling, Shaw, Matic, Fred, Pogba, Mata, Alexis and Martial. That, for me, is a very, very good starting lineup. But yes, I would agree. I think the bench leaves a lot to be desired. And why Scott McTominay's there? Well, some people would say, why is Scott McTominay there? My answer to that would be that that's just what Jose does. He created an award for him last year. So how can Pereira not play, says Mbuna? Why is Pereira not even on the squad, says Scott H? Well, because McTominay's back fit. His godson is back fit, isn't he? So, but as Nicky Fraser says, very excited about this lineup. And to be honest with you, the bench is crap, but it shouldn't be about the bench today. It should be about that starting 11. I think that starting 11 should be enough. I mean, Man United says Jones and McTominay, WTF. Yeah, you've got to worry about that. No Eric Bailly as well, says Lucas Leitner. Yeah, I mean, you've really got to worry about the I don't want to delve into negativity because I think we'll win this game today. Luke has made a contribution. He says, we love you, Goldbridge, we do. Yeah, thanks for the support. Not feeling great today, but there's no way I was going to miss doing a watch along with you lot, and there's no way I'm going to miss a United game. I felt terrible last night, but I was even thinking I could just lie in my bed watching the game with my phone above me, so I was always going to do it. But score prediction, says Sophie. My score prediction is that United are going to win. I think we'll win 3-1. I think we've got so much talent on the break. I don't see this team having the problems that Mourinho's teams normally do. There is no Fellaini, there is no Lukaku, so there is no concern for me. There's your wave, Ibrahim. Lukaku had a good record versus Bournemouth, but it looks as finishes versus with them. Says Sai Hemath. Sanchez is in the team, says Jay Ash Mata. Yeah, I've got to change the team. I'm actually waiting on Andy to call in and talk about the team news, which is a little bit. I thought he would have done it now. Hi Mark, says Karthinakan. This fluid front three is the way to go. It is. I'm very happy with it. Let's have a look. Right. Oh God, I'm struggling with the cough already. Not a good start. Lawrence Annemans has finally some fluidity in the team. Jose's still out though. He's left it too late. I think the most important thing today, Lawrence and everybody, is that we win this game of football. Even if we win, if we win today, are you Mourinho in or are you Mourinho out? I still don't think it's enough to sort of sway you, but I'm very happy with that starting lineup. I think it's the right starting lineup for United, and I think it will be enough to beat Bournemouth. But we shouldn't underestimate Bournemouth. But what I would say is that is the sort of United side that should win this game of football. Rest in peace, Lukaku, says Dab. I don't know what the situation is with Romelu Lukaku. All it does is, look, beyond the United team that we think will win today, there are still massive issues with Jose Mourinho. I've got to be honest about that and say that there are still massive issues, because when you look at the bench, he's still, he's including someone like Phil Jones there. He's including Darmian on the bench. He's including McTominay on the bench. He's totally dropping Bay and Pereira. Lukaku, who's a player that he stood by adamantly, now finds himself totally out of the squad as well. So Mourinho is still a haphazard manager. And D1M1T says, I feel sorry for Pereira now. Look, I didn't expect Pereira to play today, but I would like to have seen him on the bench. But I do think that we need to focus exclusively on the fact that this is the lineup that we would have wanted in this game today, and that it's comfortably, too little, too late is something that will get levelled at Jose Mourinho. Of course it will, and I would say that. Why is it? You're almost sacked and you start playing Alexis Sanchez up front. You're almost sacked and you start playing Anthony Martial. You're almost sacked and you start playing Fred in a midfield three. He hasn't been doing this, but the fact that he's done it, if we keep winning games, that's the best thing for United. And I am not Jose Mourinho in by any stretch of the imagination, but if we were to win our next few games up till Christmas and play good football, then what would you want to change for anyway? And I know that's a big step to say that. Of course it's a big step, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen by any means, because I think going and beating somebody like Man City and Juventus is going to be very, very hard for any side, especially Manchester United. There are still weaknesses with that team, and you look at the fact that Ashley Young is the captain. He's Tonado 2G7 says he's not almost sacked. Mate, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. Jose Mourinho was going to be sacked after the Newcastle game, and it was only because of people like Gary Neville and the uproar about it that he stayed in his job. He is close to the sack. If he lost today and lost against City, I think he'd be gone. But I don't think that's going to happen, because I think that the change in the team. So you've got the right team on the right now. Sanchez up front, Martial, Mata, Fred, Pogba, Matic, Young, Lindelof, Smalling, Shaw and De Gea. So you've got your right team there. Smash a like on the video. We want to get 1,000 likes before kickoff. We want to get some positivity. And the reality is that team that's on my right, you cannot underestimate how positive that is. I fail to see how that team can lose. I've seen United under Mourinho recently, and I've thought, oh, you know what a bad team. Fellaini's playing. Lukaku couldn't hit the ocean from a boat. We've got two slow midfielders. You've got Sanchez on the left out of form. You've got Lingard who's never on the ball. We're going to struggle today. But I look at that team and I think, well, Mata wants to be on the ball. Martial's in form. Sanchez has got something to prove in a position I think is best for him up front. Pogba's playing well because he's got Martial with him. Fred is playing well because he's got Pogba with him. And then, our defence. We've got the best goalkeeper in the world. You've got Luke Shaw, who's been very good this season. Lindelof's finding his form. I think it's there. It's there for United to go and get the result today. Of course, anything can happen. And I've said before United are going to win, and people will tell you, well, you've said we're going to win before and you get it wrong. Of course, I could be wrong, but I don't see how that team can not win today. Obviously, a bad refereeing decision, a dodgy penalty. Of course, anything can go wrong. But I just don't see how we're going to lose this game today. I think the team is the right team to play. That's what I would say. I've got Ross joining, which is great. Hello, Ross. Can you hear me?
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Give us your thoughts on the team.
I've just been having a ding-dong with someone on Twitter, actually. Because for me, strongest 11 out there today. Really happy with it. Really looking forward to the game, given the lineup, and I think we should be steamrolling Bournemouth with that team. I know that the major negative is McTominay in for Pereira, which we all don't agree with. Look, that's the one negative.
Phil Jones for Bay as well.
I don't see a problem with that personally. I think they're both crap.
I was going to say, as long as you don't say Phil Jones is good, I can live with that. But yeah,
yeah, they're both crap. But yeah, no, I taking the focus away from the bench. That starting 11.
yeah,
He's doing, which I quite like to see in, especially a stubborn Jose, is one, he's dropping his favourite player. I don't know if Lukaku's injured today, but I think this is going to be the team regardless if Lukaku was fit. And secondly, he's reacting to players' form, which I think hasn't happened with Jose at United for a long time. So I'm pleased with that, and I think that front three, Mata, Martial and Sanchez, is soul destroying for an opposition.
yeah. I mean, I was just saying that before we went live there. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts or predictions are on the game. There's a lot of people going for a win like I am, but it does simply come down to that. I don't, as you said there, you know, Fellaini's and Lukaku's and Lingard's in the team and Sanchez on the left. You know, yes, they're good, but you always had a concern that this team just doesn't work. When I look at this team that he's picked today, I think it works. And a team that works with that level of quality, I just think surely it's going to have too much for Bournemouth. I've got total confidence.
Yeah, and Sanchez is very good at holding the ball up. His first touch is second to none. So hopefully we'll see that come through today. Mata's been class, and Martial's back to the Martial that we know. Yeah, if I was Bournemouth, I'd be worried. And I can see nothing else but a United win today. It's been a strange week for me as well. Off the back of that Everton game, I haven't looked forward to a United game for a while because we tend to just get crap results. I've been really looking forward to this game off the back of that Everton game. So I hope I don't get disappointed or let down today.
It's a must-win game. I mean, I don't think anybody is in the mindset that we're going to lose this game. And I bloody hope that we're not going to lose it because I think we're all expecting to win. But if he was to lose it, I mean, Bournemouth are not a terrible side. Then it would put him in a very, very difficult situation because this is the team that everybody wants.
Yeah, you're right. We have to win. If I'm not wrong, I think City's our next game. We need momentum.
City, yeah.
We have to have momentum going into that City game. We're probably going to lose midweek. We can concede that, but Premier League momentum needs to stay. Look, Everton was a good result. I think Bournemouth away, if we win, is a good result. And then obviously it's City away, which you never know. We did it last year. We could do it again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people writing us off against City. I just think derbies, anything can happen in a derby, so we shouldn't think too much about that. But you've got to win the games like this. I mean, Jose said yesterday in his press conference that he expected us to be in a better position by Christmas, which for me was two things. One, he expects us to be in a better position by Christmas, but also he expects to be here by Christmas. I mean, we've got some very, very winnable fixtures between now and Christmas, at sort of apart from City away and Liverpool away. Even Arsenal's at home, you'd expect to win that. So I suppose it just, as I was talking about it last night, Ross, it's just whether, I don't know where you are on the Mourinho thing at the moment. I'm still Mourinho out because I think we'll win today and obviously we beat Everton. But I just don't trust him ever anymore. I just think when Fellaini's fit, will he drop Fred? You know, when Lukaku scores a couple of goals in training, will he drop Martial and put Sanchez back on the left? If he was just going to pick this team every week till Christmas, I'd probably go, right, let's see what happens, but I just don't trust him.
I think you have to use your squad. But yeah, you're right. This is our strongest team. He's serially underused, Fred, for I can't work out why, to be honest. Look, if he didn't think he was not going to be here at Christmas, he should just walk. Because if his mindset is that he's going to get sacked anyway, he should just walk. So I'm pleased that he is planning up to Christmas and beyond, because it shows that he's got faith in the players to turn this around. And why shouldn't he? You know, Jose's actually done what Jose does, and he's lowered all of our expectations, which is amazing, really. It's the best job he's ever done at United. But actually, when you look at it, you look at Martial, he's got world class all over that pitch. Sanchez, world class. Mata, not world class, but he's an amazing footballer. Pogba, world class. We should be doing more. The players need to stand up and be accountable for that to a point as well, and I think they have. I think Pogba's turned it around, Martial turned it around, and I'm still on the fence with Jose. 1 minute I want him gone, next minute I want him to stay. I just can't make my mind up.
Yeah, it is interesting. It is really interesting. I think the thing for me that I find most satisfying is obviously the United stand is about fan opinion, and I look at that team, and I was just looking on Twitter there to see if Mourinho has spoken about the Lukaku thing yet. I suspect he might say he's injured because it's tactical to say that, isn't it? It doesn't expose the truth, but. What I do like is that we have this situation where the fans have been proved right. A lot of fans have been saying Lukaku needed to be dropped and Sanchez needs to play up front. We're now doing it. A lot of fans have been saying for a long, long time that Martial should be playing on the left. Now we're doing it. A lot of fans have been saying, look, we've got to play Fred with Pogba. Now we're doing it. A lot of people wanted Mata back. Now he's doing it. Luke Shaw at left back, he's doing it. He's playing a centre back pairing. All right, it might not be the centre back pairing everybody wants, but he's consistently picking one. I think that's very important for the centre backs. It's just great because I think a lot of people have had issues with Mourinho because he does things that they don't want him to, and the excuses today would be very interesting. I don't want to see this situation, but it would be very interesting if we did lose this game because I don't know where fans would sort of go unless we just played shit football with these good players. But those players should be enough for us. But it is interesting how Mourinho is basically saving his job, doing what the fans have been telling him to do for a long, long time.
If we lost today, I'm sure Jose would blame Martial no matter what. But it's interesting because you do see, I definitely see it, a real divide with how the fans, what they think in the stadium and what the fans that don't necessarily go to many games think. I think the opinion changes. Like the full Old Trafford crowd at the backing of Jose Mourinho, when not necessarily outside of Old Trafford that's the case. I've seen that with Lukaku since day one. The United crowd have never really been behind him. There's always moans and groans. His first touch was off from day one. He saved it with a few goals. But he's never had the full support of Old Trafford. And I think it's right that he gets taken out for a little while. He needs to improve his game. The Lukaku that we've had at Old Trafford is not good enough. I'm not saying that Lukaku's not good enough, but the one we've seen isn't. He needs to improve his game. He cannot be a striker for Manchester United without a first touch.
No, you're right, and I think with Lukaku, I was talking about this last night as well. The problem with Lukaku is I like Lukaku. I think he's a good striker, but I don't know whether he's a United striker because I said it when we signed him. I worry. I wanted Morata, and people laugh about that. But the one thing Morata has got is he's got a first touch, and I think at the highest level, when you've got people like Pogba and Martial, the number nine's got to be able to hold the ball up and play it. And too many times Lukaku, when he's passing it off to Pogba, it's only slight margins, but it's slightly behind Pogba. It's not in his path. And that sort of thing, at the highest level, it does cost you. And also, he's a striker that probably needs 3 chances to score 1. So long term, I think Lukaku's probably a bit of a bad signing for United. But we'll see what happens. He's not playing today, and I think that gives Manchester United a massive opportunity to go and win this game, which is what we want to see. The midfield of Fred, Pogba and Matic, a lot of people are saying that Herrera should play. Matic has had a lot of stick lately, but to be honest with you, look, I probably would move Matic out for Herrera or Pereira, but I don't think he's going to be a problem. He's a very experienced Premier League player. He's won Premier League titles. He's obviously a Serbian international, and today he's just going to sit there in front of that midfield 3. So we should be all right with that. But do you agree that maybe Matic is a concern?
I'm 50-50 with him. I think he really slows us down going forward, but actually he does quite a lot towards breaking up play and being in the right positions. Long term, yes, I think I'd rather see Herrera take on that mantle, but at the minute I think he's doing quite a solid job. He's consistently fit. You know what you're going to get out of him. And secondly, Pogba and Fred, hopefully they're kind of getting a bit of a relationship. I'd see that as the midfield 3 going forward. Yes, Matic will end up being replaced by Pereira, but you do lose a little bit of physicality in there, and I probably sound like Jose thinking that I want all 7-foot players, but Fred's not the most physically imposing. Pogba can't do it all on his own. I think he does need a physical presence with him, Pogba, otherwise he just takes too much on his plate.
Amit has made a contribution. Thank you, Amit. He says that Sanchez behind the striker, 4-2-3-1. Thoughts, Mark? Well, no, he's going to play down the middle, Ross, I presume. I mean, that's the team that we've got out on the right. It's Mata, Martial and Sanchez. And Sanchez, you would expect to play through the middle. I suppose there's an opportunity there that Martial could play there, but I would hate to see that. I would hate to see that because that, to me, would mean Martial's not going to be playing for United for much longer. If he's found a place for Sanchez back on the left, he's got to be playing through the middle.
You'd be an idiot and a fool to do it that way round, I think. I think Sanchez has played his best football for United pre-season as a striker when Lukaku was out. Martial's played all his best football on the left for United. No illusions. I think Martial is a number 9 going forward. I just think that he cannot make that transition after he's played 2 decent games back on the left wing. He needs to continue in that role, and he will gradually, as his career progresses, move into that number 9. Because I think he's got all the attributes for it. But for now, Sanchez is a better number 9 than Martial. Martial's a far better left winger than Sanchez. So they will play that way round. I think there's no other way for that to happen. And I think as a centre-back, Sanchez playing at number 9 will seriously worry me, because he not only can control the ball, he can turn on a sixpence and start running at you as a centre-back. And that's dangerous, especially if you've got players like Martial running beyond you as well. I think it could really work today.
Just on Bournemouth, I mean, they've had quite a good run. They've been scoring a lot of goals away from home. They've been scoring a lot of goals in general. They don't concede many goals. Are we being a little bit premature in predicting United are going to win? Or is it just simply that, yeah, we're going to win because we've got the better players?
We probably are, to be honest, given what United have done all season, but we shouldn't really be worried about Bournemouth. If we lose today or draw, it's because of our own misdemeanours, our own mistakes. You know, it won't be because of a Bournemouth madness, because player for player, we should be tearing these apart. Make no mistakes with that. Will the managers come into it? Probably, because I really do rate Eddie Howe. Really do rate him. But, again, player for player. That midfield, Fred, Pogba, Matic, should be absolutely destroying this Bournemouth midfield.
Interesting here, just reading a quote from Jose Mourinho. In training yesterday after the press conference, he felt something that needs to be studied in the next couple of days. So Lukaku has not come, and we decided to start with Alexi. So, that's a little bit disappointing, Ross, to be honest. It is an injury. I personally was saying all week that I thought Lukaku would have started today, and that probably sort of confirms it, that we get Sanchez by default, which is still good because it's an opportunity, and if it works, hopefully we stick with it. But it doesn't surprise me that, to be honest. I mean, whatever anybody thinks about Lukaku, it was only a year ago, like you were saying, that fans, were murmuring about Lukaku and his touch. And I remember Jose coming out publicly saying, "I'm not dropping him. He's my boy." And I don't think that's changed. I think Mourinho. I thought the dropping of Lukaku last week against Everton was the most reluctant dropping ever. I mean, he was on after 62 minutes, wasn't he? So. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that it's an injury, to be honest. But hopefully Sanchez can take that opportunity, because I just don't see. I think we're always going to struggle with Lukaku up front.
Yeah, it needs to be taken out like he is today, injury or not, and taken away from the squad for a little bit, because Lukaku on the bench is useless, especially if we're ahead. Because he brought nothing to us. He disrupted the play. Yeah, he worries me. He really does. And I'm not saying Lukaku's a bad striker. I just think he's going through a really bad time at the minute. And maybe he just needs to get taken out for a bit, study his game, because it's not like we're desperate for Romelu Lukaku at the minute. I think that this is our best team out today. We don't have a backup striker. If we had any other striker in the world, Lukaku wouldn't be playing for us at the minute. And this is where I gauge Lukaku. I think if Martial went on the transfer market today, all the top clubs around Europe would be biting United's hand off for him. I don't see that with Lukaku. I don't see Lukaku fitting in at a Real Madrid or Juventus. I think he's becoming a Europa League grade player. And that sounds awful for me to say.
The thing about Lukaku is, though, I mean, a lot of people talk about it, and I certainly don't think you've always got to be careful when you're talking about weight, because I hated the fact that Luke Shaw used to get called fat, and Anderson as well. I don't think it's right. And it's certainly not fat with Lukaku. As I said last night, it's like he's been attacked by a swarm of wasps and had an allergic reaction. But he's double the size he was against Everton, and I don't care what anybody says, it's simple physics. He's slower because of that. And I tweeted it out this morning. I just think it's... Whoever's allowed him to get that big should be, reprimanded, really, because he's just too big. And it's not fat, it's muscle, but he's massive, absolutely massive. When against, at Everton, he was actually massive but quite lean, and I think they need to sort that out.
He's like a shit-hacking favour, isn't he?
Yeah. Too big, way too big.
No, that's really bad. I shouldn't have said that. But you're right, he is. And it ain't fat, it is muscle. Too much time in the gym. He's trying to he's trying to look like a beast. Don't look like a beast, play like a beast, and we'll think you're a beast, So yeah, I think he's missed a trick there. And that's what he needs to do. Go away from the football for a minute, get out of the public eye, get your physique back, have a rest. He looks knackered from the World Cup still, to be honest. He had no pre-season. take him out of it. Sanchez is ready to go for me.
Well, yeah, Sanchez had this summer off, didn't he? He was going to come back
Exactly.
the new Sanchez. So today, as much as we're all excited about it, Sanchez has got to get it going today.
Yeah, Sanchez's movement in the box as well. We saw it against Tottenham with that header. I mean, he's 5'0". He still gets on the end of headers. That's movement. That, you know, you can't just be big, which is what Lukaku's kind of using at the minute as his main attribute, and it's not good enough. I think a footballing ability becomes before physique. You see that with Mata, the way he's turned our form around. You know, that's just genuinely down to how good of a footballer he is. Nothing to do with his physique. And I think we're going to see that with Sanchez today, hopefully.
Yes, just on Bournemouth very quickly, because you know they've got a capacity of 11,000. A lot of people have been talking about Eddie Howe, and we are a Manchester United fan channel. But I just want to pay him a little bit of respect, especially in relation to this month in the Premier League. So they've played our last 3 Premier League games. Obviously, we beat Everton. It was a great win against Everton. We deserved to win it, but let's not pretend. I heard somebody say we should have been 4-0 winners. No way. Everton had chances as well. Chelsea, I think stupid defending. We nearly got a great win there. And Newcastle, was it Newcastle before that? I think it was. That was obviously a bit of a dodgy game, but we got the win in the end. But looking at Bournemouth, their last 3 games, 4-0 at Watford. I mean, that's no mean feat to go and do that. 0-0 at home to Southampton, which is probably encouraging for us today because that was their home game. And then Fulham, 3-0 away. So they look like a very good team when they're the away team, but they certainly don't look like a team that concedes many goals.
No, they don't. And that's, again, testament to Eddie Howe. Because I look at Bournemouth's squad, and although some of them players are playing out their skin, some of them are crap. They really are. I mean, they wouldn't get anywhere near United's reserve team, some of these players. Eddie Howe's got them playing as a team, and he's got the best out of all of them players, I think. I've had Callum Wilson in my fantasy Premier all season. He's probably my highest point scorer. You know, and he's nowhere near a top striker in England. He's just sort of mid-range. So I think he's a great manager. He gets touted around for the United job. Some people say yes, some people say no. To be honest, I say why not? These managers that excel and pretty much perform wonders at these lesser clubs, They get touted around for saying, you know, they wouldn't be able to make the step up. They wouldn't know what to do with a big club like United. How do you know? Let's give them a chance because for me, I think he's the favourite for me in line to Jose. I just think we could give these young English managers a chance because they know the English game so well.
I don't think he's got a chance in hell of becoming the manager. That's not because I don't think he deserves to be given a shot. I just don't think United would ever take a risk on someone like that. We are, especially with Woodward and the Glazers, they like the big name, don't they? So I'd be amazed if they gave it to Eddie Howe. But I'm interested. I mean, it's interesting. I've not watched Bournemouth this season. I'll put my hands up and say I've got better things to do with my time. So hopefully, we'll see what his formation's all about. But it's interesting as well because one thing I did speak to a Bournemouth fan on the preview on Thursday, and he was saying what we do is we do move the ball quickly. We are a pressing team. You know, pretty much like every team seems to be at the moment, like we saw with Derby, like we saw with Wolves. That's definitely not what United are. I mean, the facts are there. You know, we're normally the least distance covered in the whole league, least shots, least chances created. But that seems to have changed as well. And, despite what is a very good 11 today, that's probably the most fundamental thing, Ross, is that, yeah, you can pick a great 11, but we've got to fight fire with fire and go and, play on the front foot ourselves, which has not been Jose's way up until recently.
I think a supremely talented football team would love to play against a pressing team because all you do is tire them out, move the ball around them, after 60 minutes kill them off. And that's what United have done for the last couple of decades, to be honest. The issue is that our players at the minute, once they get put under pressure, especially the centre-backs, buckle. And that's where the encouragement will come from Bournemouth because we can't outskill these pressing teams anymore. And we're kind of having to fight fire with a bit. We've changed. We have pressed a lot more, which has been great to see. Great to see that enthusiasm and energy. Don't think that's the way. That's not necessarily the United way. The United way is just to outclass our opponents, which is what City have been doing for the last 2-3 years. I think players like Mata have injected a little bit of composure and class into what we have. And I think he's been a massive, massive asset. We have to sign him up on a new contract or risk losing him. And that's what I think has been our change of fortune, to be honest. I don't want to pin it on one man because Martial's been great as well, but Mata's made such a difference coming back into this team.
Definitely. Well, thanks for joining me, Ross. Really appreciate you popping on. What's your score prediction?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 3-0 United because that'll do wonders for my fantasy Premier team.
I think even if we win, we're still behind Bournemouth unless we beat them by 4 clear goals because of their goal difference. But you know, we probably would be only 2 points behind Arsenal tonight if Liverpool beat them as well if we win. So, you know, I just want to ask you that quickly before you go as well. Do you, putting you on the spot a bit, do you think we will be in the top 4 by Christmas like Jose's sort of in predicting?
If we beat Man City, yes. If we don't, no. Spinning it on one game, we have to win today. If we can beat Man City, I think the momentum will be there and we'll crack on. A setback now, that's where we're teetering on. One setback will finish us off, I think, and maybe even finish Jose off as well. So he needs to build that momentum. And can he do it? I think he can.
Good. All right. Well, thanks for popping on, mate. And I'll
have a lemsip, mate.
Yeah, I've got one coming.
Catch you later, mate.
Speak to you, mate. Ta-da.
Cheers, mate.
You can follow Ross on Twitter at Hazza90, which is at HAZZA90. Thanks for Ross coming on and sparing my voice for a little bit. I'm feeling awful, absolutely awful. So thanks everybody who's watching and supporting the channel. Please do subscribe if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we're on the road to 300,000 subscribers. Bottom right hand corner, subscribe if you are new. The United Stand, Manchester United's biggest independent fan channel. We're live every night at 8 o'clock. We've got lunchtime shows most days as well. We've got fan cams coming up after the game. We've got a match reaction stream. And obviously every United game we go live an hour before kick-off with the team news right the way through till full time. We'll be here reacting and chatting about what's going on. Ross is always so positive, says Van de Gaal. Well, some fans are like that. Stepney says, is Ross still Mourinho in? I think he's just, teetering on, flip-flop, I suppose, would be the harsh word. But I think it's like, there are some United fans who are a bit like that. I mean, the reality is, this team today, the team against Everton, it's what United fans want to see. So, the positivity is there, isn't it? But, I mean, as I say, the starting 11, as you can see on my right there, you've got De Gea, Young, Lindelof, Smalling, Shaw, Matic, Pogba, Fred, Mata, Sanchez, Martial. I think it's a great 11. Buzzing Mark, the front three I've been waiting for, says CGS. Thanks for the contribution. But there, you can always flip it the other way. And whilst I'm incredibly positive, I read some of your comments, I look on social media, and I agree to a certain extent that, look, Ashley Young's not a captain. Why is he the captain? Where's Eric Bailly and Pereira on the bench? Why is Jones and McTominay on there? I do agree with those points. And also, Sanchez wouldn't have played. It would have been Lukaku. Lukaku got injured yesterday. So we are benefiting from an injury to a player, which I always feel a bit awkward about. But I think Mourinho should have dropped him. And obviously he wasn't going to drop him. And I think he was going to play him. But that's just the way it is, isn't it? We've got the team that we want. Let's hope it can produce. Sheraz Kamath Fitness has made a contribution. He says, I think this is the first time Martial is playing so many games consecutively after Sanchez arrived. This time I think it's on merit and he deserves it. It's interesting about Martial. Mourinho spoke about Martial in the press conference yesterday, but it was in the sanctioned press conference, so it didn't come out till 10:30. And he basically said, look, I want Martial to stay. The club desperately want him to stay. We knew he was a great talent when we got him from Monaco, but it's great talent and understanding the game is when you start to get it. It's a slight dig at him again. It's never 100% pure praise from Mourinho with Martial. But as I said last night, there clearly is a bit of an issue there. Sorry, I will be struggling with coughs during this, so I apologise. Ranuk Dash says, what will make you Jose Mourinho in? Well, get in the live comments and I'll read some of those out. But in short, what would make me Jose Mourinho in is if he picked a team like this every week, he stopped putting plonkers like Scott McTominay on the bench and Phil Jones. He brought Eric Bailly and Pereira back into the squad because I think they're both better than a lot of the players we've got in that first team today. And he never picks Fellaini or Lukaku or Sanchez on the left again. And long term, he looks to take Matic out of the team and put a midfielder in there who's got a little bit more dynamism about them. Maybe a Pereira, maybe Herrera. So, but my biggest concern with Jose Mourinho is that I just think that I don't trust him. I think we can win today and I think we will win today. But Fellaini's injured, Lukaku's injured. When they're fit, will he bench or worse not have them in the squad? Of course he won't. He loves them. And what we've seen in the past is You have a bad half an hour if you're Martial, and you're off, and you're not seen for 5 weeks. You have a bad 5 weeks and you're Lukaku, and you're back playing the next game. That, for me, is probably more important for Jose Mourinho and whether I'd be Mourinho in. So I would want Mourinho to be picking the team that he's picked today. I'd want it to be consistently picked, like today, and I'd want the football to be good. And then if we had all those things and we started winning games, I'd probably be looking to be Mourinho in by around Christmas time. But I think the damage he's done to this season already is sackable. I think that it's a disgrace what he's done. I think the way he's treated players, the teams that he's picked, the tactics that he's picked, the results that we've had, they're not great. So I'm not going to come back from being Mourinho out, which was a very big decision to me, just because we beat Everton and Bournemouth. That's not going to be enough. He's going to have to do this. And more importantly, whatever happens today, and I think we will win, and I'm very positive about that, we're going to see really what United are all about against Juventus and Man City, because that's the level we should be winning at. So all right, going to Bournemouth and winning and beating Everton at home, United should do that. But what we really should be doing is competing with Juventus and Man City. So that is where Mourinho can sort of start to try and win me back. I'm interested to see how the centre-backs do today, Lindelof and Chris Smalling as well. They have been playing regularly together. Do I think that Lindelof and Smalling are anywhere near what Spurs have got, what Liverpool have got, what City have got? No, I don't think they are. And I think that's quite surprising with someone like Mourinho, who builds really strong centre-back pairings. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. He played McTominay at centre-back against West Ham, says Moada. Exactly. He's made some really, really bad decisions. Bay, not part of the squad, Twitch Doctor. If Jose plays his favourites, he will get the sack. He cannot blame anybody else. But you know what, Manny? I agree with that point. But let's just wallow in the success as United fans that Mourinho's had to pick a team that we want today. You know, he's having to pick the team we want. So we are the winners here. You know, Mourinho will take the credit because he's Mr. Mourinho, isn't he? It's all about him. But actually, he's picking the team that we want. So we're the winners. Stepney, we're almost at 300,000 subscribers. We're not far off. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and smash a like on the video. We want 1,000 likes before kickoff, please. It's a superstition. 1,000 likes before kickoff and we win. And of course, Mourinho might not be doing it, but I've gone for the milk tray look. He did it against Juventus at home, so I copied it for the Everton game. My long-sleeved polo neck with my United top over the top. Did it for the Everton game. We played well. We picked the right team. We won. It's back for the Bournemouth game. It's the lucky combo. Bacon Luigi says Jose is underrated, and no one cares if you're not Mourinho out or like. Doesn't make any sense, Johnny Smith. I can't read comments that don't make sense. What do you expect from Sanchez today, says Carl? I think Alexis Sanchez is a flop. That's what I would say. You cannot sign for somebody and then 8 months later have not played well. So he is a flop. He was a bad signing because we lost Martial because of it. I think Rashford suffered. I think Lingard suffered. No one ever mentions Lingard, but Lingard was Messi Lingard up until Sanchez came. And Pogba suffered. And that, you know, that can't be disputed. But what I've always said about Sanchez is I do feel a certain empathy because it's not his fault. What we'll see today, hopefully, because if he's on the left, I'm going to cry, is Sanchez in a position that more suits him. I think Sanchez more central, or even off the right, will suit him far better than on the left. So it's a massive day for Sanchez. If Sanchez puts in there's always a chance that Sanchez might play like he's played for us in the first 8 months, and we might have to accept what many Arsenal fans said, that they are a flop, that he's on the decline. And if that was the case, we're in a bit of concern. I mean, I'm just looking at Bournemouth. They're showing some highlights of Bournemouth, and it's the speed on the break. They're so quick on the break. Tenacious, fast. It's going to be a battle for us, but you would hope that our quality will win out in this game. Ryan Beale says it's my wife Kendra's birthday. Hopefully we win. Well, happy birthday to Kendra. I think we'll win, Ryan. I think the last thing you want to do on an early kickoff is not win, because then you've got to spend the whole weekend watching everybody else play, knowing that you've lost. Stretch says apparently Sanchez is going back to PSG following Di Maria footsteps of being a flop. Sanchez never played for PSG, so how can he go back? Sanchez at striker is dangerous, says Rahul N. We'll have to play the ball into his feet though, because obviously he hasn't got the height, but I think he can do well. And we've got to keep an eye out for Callum Wilson for Bournemouth as well. As Ross was saying, he scored a lot of goals this season, and we've got to be very, very, very acutely aware of how they might cause us a problem. I mean, just looking at the Bournemouth lineup, Francis plays, who's their right back, who I spoke to Red and Black TV, which is a Bournemouth fan channel, and they said that their weakest position is probably Francis, who's the right back. Well, who plays at left wing for us? Martial, so that could be encouraging. Cook and Aki are obviously quite good centre-backs. But they've got Wilson, but they haven't got Josh King, which I think is a real loss for them. He's not been playing the last few games, to be fair, but he's not fit. He's been out for the last few games for them, so that is a bit of a loss for them. And we've still got Defoe playing for them on the bench, but Jordan Ibe as well. But they are missing Josh King, so that's quite encouraging for us as well. Whereas we've got options, they probably won't have the depth that we have. Chronic II has made a contribution. He says the big threats for Bournemouth are Stanislas, Brooks and Wilson. I would keep an eye out for them players. As an Arsenal fan, I hold zero grudges. Good luck. Thanks for the contribution, mate. Remember, if you want to make a contribution, you can do that through the $ at the bottom of the live comments. But if you do, please do leave us a comment so that we can read it out for you. It's appreciated. What's the formation? Says Hittikiga. Well, you never know with United. You've got to wait till kick-off. We're hoping it's the one on my right, which is a 4-3-3. Matic just holding the midfield. Fred and Pogba getting forward. Martial on the left. Mata cutting in from the right, and Sanchez through the middle. But it could be Martial up front with Sanchez on the left, which I think would be the worst-case scenario. It could be Mata as a false 9 with Sanchez and Martial on the left. We'll have to see. Manas Sama says sell Sanchez, Lukaku and Matic and buy a fast right winger. Well, it's a massive game for Sanchez today. If you can't turn up against Bournemouth, then there is a big problem, I think. So he's got to put in a good performance. Gamer Kid says Sanchez is left wing. If he is, I'm going to be absolutely gutted. It's not on to put Martial up front. It's basically throwing Martial under the bus and force him out of the team, because he won't play well up front, and Lukaku will come back in the team. Sanchez will be on the left. This has happened before. Beware of this. I'm going to say this right now. If he's moved Martial from the left to put him up front, all that's about is getting Lukaku back in the team and Martial out of the team, and working back towards the front three that he wants to play, which is Lingard, Lukaku and Sanchez. But hopefully that won't be the case. Ranuk Dash says favourite player at United currently after Martial. Well, it's always been Martial and Rashford, to be honest. So I'm not going to move away from that. I just think Martial is obviously my favourite. Rashford represents something very important for United because of the youth, and I do think that Rashford is a great talent. I just think he's been suppressed under Jose Mourinho, if I'm totally honest. So it still would be him. Kawuya says United don't normally win early kickoffs. I don't have the stats on that. Red Rally says Martial is not up front because Sanchez's name is where Rashford was. I think it will be Sanchez up front. I mean, why would you swap that dynamic down the left-hand side that has worked so well? Sure, Martial and Pogba. We spoke about this last season so much. You've got Paul Pogba, you've got Martial, you've got heat maps, you've got Sanchez. Sanchez heat map wanders into Paul Pogba's heat map, and that it doesn't work. Martial will hog the touchline, allowing Pogba to come forward, and it works. And it worked fantastically well in that second goal against Newcastle. Oh dear. That's gross. At least it's clear. I'm struggling. You know, most lesser mortals would be wrapped up with a hot blanket, hot water bottle, but not me. We fight together for the United stand, and hopefully we'll see some fight on the pitch from United today as well. It'll be a tough game, but Martial will make the difference today, says Rude the One. Well, there's my boy on the left-hand side, Martial on fire. I mean, I'm just so satisfied with Martial, and obviously a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon, and I think you get quite protective of a player, because I've never said a bad word against Martial. Never. Anybody who watches the United stand, you'll know I've been a pro Martial from the day he came to the club. I think he's a fantastic player. He's been my favourite player for years. And of course, it's great that people are jumping on that bandwagon now. But like an elephant, I don't forget. It was quite recently where people were saying, get out of my club, he's lazy, he's arrogant. And they've been proved wrong. And I think that's for me, that's justification. I love it. I absolutely love it. The fact that people are having to sit down and take their medicine on it. What time does it start? Eastern time, says Sim. Got no idea. I can tell you what time it starts, Birmingham time, and that is in 16 minutes. I'm 80% sure United is going to win. Says Common Sense. Well, it's a common sense approach. You know what though? Look, let's be respectful of Bournemouth here. They're playing very well. They're above us in the league. They don't concede many goals. They can score goals themselves. They're the home team. They'll be up for it. So anything could happen in a game like this. But we're Manchester United. The 11 we've picked is a better 11 than them. We've got a team full of internationals there. It's not an intimidating ground because it's so little. I think it's 11,000. So that shouldn't be a concern for us. And on top of that, I think Bournemouth will have a go because they've got a nosebleed where they are in the league. So they'll come and have a go. And for us, that is a great chance for us to find a little bit of space. CGS says, don't worry, Mark, you've got your Jose neck warmer on to keep you warm. I'll tell you what, I bloody need it. I'll tell you what I've got as well, though. This is great. I've got one of these. It's one of them, it's called a Hive. It is a Hive. So when I get a little bit cold, I've got a radiator right there. I can just turn the heating on. I've turned the hot water on now. I don't want to do that. Hot water boost cancelled. So yeah, that'll work. If you had to buy a player from the January transfer window, who do you go for? Says iJohn13. Look, in relation to the January transfer window, I think it's a waste of space. I don't think you can get the players you want to get. You're not going to get Icardi from Inter. You're not going to get Skriniar from Inter. You're not going to get Koulibaly from Napoli. You're not going to get Alderweireld from Spurs. You're not going to get anybody that's any good. The only reason we got Alexis Sanchez is because Arsenal needed to get a fee because he was going for nothing in the summer. So there is no scenario around like that at the moment. I don't agree with the January transfer window. I don't think it helps United. I think the January transfer window works well if you're Man City. You know when they tried to get Morris, or did they bring Laporte in as well? It works well if you've got a good team and you're just adding a sprinkling of seasoning to it. It doesn't work when you're desperate. When you're desperate, the January transfer window, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work because desperate people make desperate signings, and we don't need any more desperate signings. We need good quality signings. Let's go, Man United. Hit the like button before game time. We're so close to 1,000 likes. Please do hit a like on the video. Let's get the magic 1,000 likes before kickoff. Anthony Martial's looking happy. Bjorn Lundberg has made a contribution. He says, Sanchez is all over the place and ruins Pogba and Fred's space when they go forward. He will drop the ball and Bournemouth will catch us on the break. Interesting from Bjorn there. Well, let's see how it goes. At the end of the day, let's see how it goes. I'm confident that we can win today. I think Bournemouth's weak link is their right back, and I think that's the place where United can get the most joy out of this game at end of the day. Aaron Ramsey, says Rashid King. I mean, where does Aaron Ramsey fit in for United, though? Is he going to sit in Matic's position? No. We've got Fred and Pogba. So that's what we should be looking at against in the January transfer window. We shouldn't be looking for someone like that. But I'm going to go 3-1 United. I was going to go 2-1, but I think because I've seen the team selection, I think there's more goals in us. I think we might get this game done quite early as well. Yes. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-da-bum. We've got over 1,000 likes, so we're definitely going to win now. Hype Z says, me and the girlfriend love the videos, Mark. Hashtag MUFC. High five, Hype Z. Good to have you all here. And look, hopefully we're going to win. Chris Michael says, I disagree, Mark. Ramsey bulks our midfield. I mean, yeah, you know what? He is 28. Coming in as an experienced midfielder wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but would he want to come in and be a bench player at United? I think he's a player who probably wants first team football. And he did snub us once before. I don't really like players like that. Arnold says, well, what if Herrera goes? Would you take Ramsey? Well, the misuse of Herrera is baffling. It really is. I would like to see Sanchez get a hat-trick. He is an amazing player. This is Extreme Gaming. I don't think anybody would begrudge Sanchez scoring a hat-trick today if he's playing up front. I think many United fans, and I don't know how you feel about this, I begrudged Sanchez on the left wing because it's Martial's spot. I didn't like Sanchez there. He didn't play well there either, which obviously enhanced my dislike for him. He's not a left-sided player. He doesn't help Pogba. He's not good on the left-hand side. But if he can reinvent himself in the United shirt up front, then that's where he should play. But long term, do you seriously think Lukaku's going to be on the bench for United? There's no way. Mourinho worships the kid. He's going to get him back in the team. And as soon as he comes back in the team, we lose all ability to hold the ball up. Is this the best 11 this season, says Ladios? Yes, it is. I think it is, yeah, because I quite liked the starting lineup against Leicester, but there was people missing. But Pereira started, obviously. I think it is the best starting lineup. This or Everton, but I think Sanchez up front instead of Rashford. With all due respect, I love Marcus Rashford, but Sanchez, obviously. If you're judging Sanchez on what his potential is, yeah, of course. It's 5:20 a.m. in California, says the Pitch HD. Yeah, let us know where you're watching from in the live comments, because I know a lot of people get quite nosy and interested in that. I certainly do. So let us know where you're watching from. I think we'll have too much for Bournemouth, which, sounds totally disrespectful, because the reality is with Bournemouth, they have got 20 points and are 6th. We are 17 points and 8th. How do we go above Bournemouth? We need to win by 3 clear goals. And even then, we won't go above them, actually. We need to win by 4 clear goals, because if we win by 3 clear goals, we'd be on a +3 and they'd be on a +4. Because at the moment, Bournemouth's goal difference is +7 and ours is nothing. It's equal. So we've got to beat them by 4 clear goals to go above them today. So this is why I think this game is so winnable for United. Because if you're Bournemouth, you're like, this is a give me. This is a free game. Because if we win this game, if we win it, we're on. It's party time. It's Christmas. If we lose, we're still above United anyway. So, Bournemouth have got no aspirations of being in the Champions League or even probably in the top 10. So where they are at the moment, they're like, how many times in your career will you get a chance to play United at home, knowing you're going to still be above them if you lose, and you can actually have a go at them and not worry too much about your defence? So I expect Bournemouth to have a go, and I think a team that has a go against you with the quality that we've got should be too much. But hopefully it makes for a good game. But yeah, if we want to be above Bournemouth tonight, we've got to beat them by 4 clear goals. I don't think we'll do that, but you never know. Imagine if United won 3 or 4-0 tonight. Imagine today, this lunchtime. It would be a huge boost. And I think a lot of people would flip-flop and say, yeah, I back Mourinho. But as I said, I think even if United won 7-0 today, I wouldn't be Mourinho in, because I'd be like, do you really trust him to keep Lukaku out? Fellaini out. Andrei Semenovsky says hi from down under. Hi, Andrei, and thanks for the contribution. Remember, you can do that through the $sign, but please do leave us a comment if you're going to do it. We're about 8 minutes away from kickoff. Really excited for this one. I agree with what people said. Ladios says I'm watching from Malta and it's 1:21 p.m. I'm glad with the early kickoff because we didn't play since Sunday, so it's nice that we get a game on. Dalot is injured, Seven Thunders. I saw a lot of people saying today, why is Dalot not playing? He is injured, that's why. But you'd probably pick Young over Dalot anyway because he loves it. We got people watching from Washington, Iraq, Cheltenham, Jamaica. Happy birthday to Dwight York, by the way, who's not Jamaican. He's from Trinidad, but it's not too far away. Martial is up front, says Robert Swanton. I'm going to be really, really annoyed if Martial's up front because long term that means Martial's coming out of the team. And also, Sanchez on the left doesn't tend to work. Robert McCormack says it's 12:22 in London. What time is it in Birmingham? Funnily enough, it's the same time. 11:30 p.m. in Australia. I think this kickoff time probably benefits most people, doesn't it, really? Because Australia, it's obviously a late night game. I think for a lot of people, it might be sort of tea time or early morning if you're in certain places. Seven Thunders is watching from Trinidad. Mata is a midfielder, not a winger, says James. And what channel is it on, Mark? Says Connor English. Well, in the UK, it's on BT Sports. Mayo in Ireland, says Shay M. And Cracked Gamers watching it from Canada. Auckland, it's 1:30 a.m. for Midget HD Aviation. And the next big thing is in Sri Lanka. I always turn up late for these watch-alongs. Is Lukaku on the bench, says Side by Side Sisters. He's not on the bench, but he's not been dropped. He's on the sofa back in his house, wherever that is. Apparently he got injured at training yesterday, so there was a big chance he was probably going to play today. So as much as many people are very, very pleased that there is no Lukaku today, it is only because he's injured. It's not because of dropping. So players are coming out. They've got poppies and stuff because of remembrance, obviously, coming up. Don't want to get into all that lot. I obviously do agree with it, but I know politically some people don't. But, at the end of the day, there will be poppies on the United shirt, I think, today, on the pink shirt. I've seen that. Dan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I could hear you loud and clear. What's going on?
I'm good, mate. How are you? You're over in New York. What time is it there?
8:24.
8:24. So not too bad. Get up, watch United. What's your thoughts on the team?
Team I like. I like the starting 11 a lot. Still not too big a fan of Juan Mata playing on the right wing, but just a little worried if the game's not going out according to plan, who's coming off the bench, because it's a little light.
Yeah, the bench isn't great. Just for anybody who's a little late, you've got Romero, Darmian, Jones, McTominay, Lingard, Rashford, Herrera. I mean, Lingard's okay as a late impact player. Rashford, obviously, as well. Herrera, I mean, he's not a creator. And then, Darmian, McTominay and Phil Jones. There's not a lot on our bench if it doesn't work out, which is what you basically just said there, Dan, really. You're right.
Yeah. And, you got basically 4 defenders because Herrera's never going to play in an advanced position. McTominay doesn't offer much going forward. Darmian and Jones shouldn't even be on the team. So hopefully get this
right. No Pereira again. A lot of people not happy about that, but you've got to be happy with the starting 11. We're hoping that it's Sanchez up front. I'm going to absolutely be furious if it's Martial up front, because to me that just means Martial's out of the team as soon as Lukaku's back and he's put Sanchez back in on the left. I'm hoping it's Sanchez through the middle, which is what BT are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what most, if not all, United fans are hoping for, especially when he played up through the middle in the preseason. It gives him a better chance to get some goals in. I think it takes the pressure off of him, actually, so he's not doing all the creating. He could have guys like Martial and Mata doing that for him, and then all he's got to worry about is scoring goals. So I think it'll actually benefit the team.
What is your thought on the game? Do you think we're going to win it? I certainly do. There's a lot of confidence around United fans, but I did say to Ross, I don't know whether you heard me, that in all fairness to Bournemouth, they are where they are on merit. They are 3 points ahead of us. They'll still be ahead of us tonight unless we beat them 4-0. Scoring a lot of goals, not conceding many goals. Obviously, they're going to be a threat.
Yeah, they're quick going forward. I really like Ryan Fraser on the left side. I think he's going to be a top 4 player in maybe a year or two. I could see a Spurs team like that coming to get him, Arsenal. But I'm going to go 3-0 today because I don't think they've lost at home yet this season. So they're due, and we're due a good performance for 90 minutes. So going with 3-0.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of confidence around United today, and I think a lot of it just comes from the fact that we've got a team that we want to see. And as I said, I think it's a bit of a gimme for Bournemouth. It's an opportunity to just go out there and know that they're not fighting relegation, that they're above United anyway. So go out there and express yourselves. It's almost a bit of a reward game for the great start to the season they've had. And if they win it, as I say, it's Christmas. But if you do lose it, you can just walk off and say, look, that team is massive compared to us, the players that it's got. It's no surprise. So I think that will play into our hands. Ali Jabbar says it's 5:20 a.m. in Seattle. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, mates. Thanks for the contribution. Sanchez up top, says DJ Presents. Yes, a lot of people talking about that. Yeah, they're just doing a minute's silence at the moment, which obviously I normally do, but I missed it by reading comments, so I will do a minute's silence when it's the actual day for it to be done. 4 out of 6 outfield players are defensive. It's a joke, says Jose out, says Darren Sweetman. Alexis playing on the left, says Hexcott. I think we'll just have to wait and see, aren't we, till kickoff as to what happens with that. But I would say that if he is, he's got to be through the middle. If he's not through the middle, I think that is just ridiculous because it just displays Mourinho's typical sort of desire to get... well, Mourinho said it himself. It should be Sanchez through the middle, Dan, because Mourinho actually said that Lukaku got injured yesterday, so that's why we're playing Sanchez. So you would hope that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I'm kind of a little... I know Lukaku's in the more, in the Mourinho fan club, But I kind of have a feeling that something might be going on with him because there was a couple times last year where he had some slight injuries and he played through because that's his guy. So I don't know if he's fully injured or maybe he's just getting the week off to clear his head and come back on the team. And I don't know. I never really believe everything that Jose says, and I think he's proven that nobody should really believe everything he says.
There is a contradiction in Mourinho anyway, because Lukaku's a player that he's always backed. He's now been dropped against Everton and he's not here today. Valencia was his captain. He's ridiculing him and dropping him. It's a very, Martial and Pogba are now massively important to him. Yet he's treated them badly. It's whatever anybody thinks, and I think we will win today, and hopefully we can start building something over the coming weeks. Whatever anybody thinks, the approach from Mourinho is haphazard, isn't it?
Yeah, I think our fear is your fear. After a couple run of games when we're playing more free flowing football that we should be playing, is that all going to stop when Lukaku comes back on the team and Fellaini's fit and time will tell. I want to tell myself no, but you can't see them on the bench, and then what happens to Fred? So then Fred's going to get a run of games and he'll be benched. Martial, same thing. So it's just it's wait and see, but.
Well, we're very close to kick-off. I'll start the timer up as soon as it starts, everybody. Hopefully this will be a win. I'm going to go 3-1 to United. Dan went 3-0, and we are up and running. Timer should be up on the pitch. Below me it is. So Martial's out on the left, which is the great positive thing straight away, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. And already, Fred trying to get forward. And I would like to see Matic out of the team, to be honest with you, because I don't think he's offering much at all. And now Pereira, he's been missing for, I think this is now the third or fourth game in a row. Bay, same thing. So there's still work to be done.
Well, Bayes, you've got to be saying Eric Bayes surely is looking at being sold, because this is now going on from last season as well, where he was missing games, and into this season it doesn't look good for him.
Yeah, but with Mourinho, you never know, because last summer we were all sitting on saying that Shaw was a goner, and now he signed a new contract. So it's just the thing I think that bothers all of us is the inconsistency. This guy might be out of the team for 3 months, and then all of a sudden he'll be Jose's favorite player. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Good little play there from De Gea to knock it into Ashley Young, who instantly knocked it forward to Sanchez. Bit of an interaction with Mata. And Sanchez ends up in the crowd with a load of Bournemouth players. But nice to see Sanchez through that middle, though. The ball whizzes into him there, and it's an instant touch back to Mata. And I don't want it to be turning into a rant about Lukaku show, but I will say that there's going to be a world of difference between what Sanchez can do in that number 9 position and what Lukaku does. I mean, he takes about 10 minutes to control the ball before he even thinks about laying it off, whereas Sanchez has got a first touch to do it. Bournemouth are on the attack here. Cross coming in, Smalling gets it clear, and Mata will complete the job, I think. Although, yes, United clear it. Good quick start to the game, though, Dan.
Yeah, it's got a nice speed to it. I like the Alexis up front. He's got a good touch. He's quick on the ball, so you're not going to see the ball sticking up there too much, which is, I think, how they should be playing, especially when you have a Martial on your team. You want it to get out to the wide players quick. Now you have some real pace, so like the ball in behind, it'll be on, rather than the ball into feet, which Lukaku can't control anyway. So,
Scott Halstengard says we need Fellaini. Yeah, like a hole in the head, mate. There's a lot of speed about this team, which is great.
Yeah, it's like look at all the top sides that are playing around Europe. They all have pace in their teams, and it's no coincidence that United haven't been playing well, because for the past 9 months they've been very slow. Past 2 games picked up the pace a little bit, so not a coincidence.
Yeah, Josh King is out injured. A few people asking about that, which is obviously a loss for Bournemouth because he's been doing very well for them. But I think he's actually missed their last 2 or 3 games, so it's not like it's a surprise for them, and they have adapted quite well without him. I mean, they don't concede many goals. They haven't conceded a goal in the Premier League in October. I mean, we're in November now, but it's certainly United on the front foot, which is great.
Yeah, they haven't they haven't lost at home either yet, have they, this year? Or they've?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. So
They beat Watford 4-0 at Watford and Fulham 3-0
Yeah.
at Fulham. So you know.
yeah. Also, too, Pogba's playing a little bit more advanced. So whenever he's playing with these quicker players up front, like Martial on the left or Rashford up front or whatever, Pogba always comes further up the field. And when Lukaku's out there, he's so deep. So I think that helps us too because you get that best out of him.
Oh,
when
here
you're
we
playing
go.
with
They're
quicker
in.
players.
Oh, he's gone too wide, I think. Oh, good save, De Gea. It was a good chance there. His touch was bad. I mean, he was pretty much through one-on-one, and his touch took him wide. And I think De Gea's always going to save it from there. It was a good chance for Bournemouth, though. They could have been 1-0 up. Great save, De Gea, says Shahen. And I think if he gets his touch right there, he just took himself a little bit too far wide.
Yeah, that was Fraser, who I like a lot. Super fast player, and he's actually got a very good foot on him. Good cross for the ball. But was that Smalling who missed the tackle?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, just quick on the break from Bournemouth again. Smalling, I like Smalling. A few people are on about Smalling there. I like Smalling, but what I will say about Smalling is he's the best third choice centre back in the Premier League for me. But he's not first team. You know, you're not going to win a title. I mean, that's terrible defending from him, and. Yeah, he just gets stuck under his feet, which sends him left. I mean, he still gets the shot away, but it's good save for De Gea with his feet. But Smalling's always going to have a mistake in him.
Yeah, I don't even think actually on that one. I don't even think he needs to slide to try to clear that. I think he could just step up to that and clear his line. But you always get some questionable decisions from him. But yeah, I agree. He's got a corner here. But yeah, to me he's a good squad player. You know, these center backs are hurt or they need a rest, and he's a very good experienced player to bring in. But too much Chris Smalling is not the best thing in the world.
Well, here's a cross. Knowing Smalling might get on the end of it here, Mata, and they've got it out. Been slightly better from set pieces recently. Why isn't MUTV showing the games? I live in America, says Yoel15. Thanks for the contribution, but I don't think MUTV ever show United Premier League games, to be honest. I think they'll show it afterwards. Yeah, I think Mata was onside there as well. Nice little chip. Oh no, he was offside. Chip ball by Fred, and it gets Mata in. He is miles offside.
Yeah, like Fred in there because he's good on the ball. He's a good technical player. He's got pace, but he's bites into the tackle. It's just a matter of how long you'll see him there, which again is unfortunate because you spend £50 million on a player, you expect to see him every week.
B. Yakov saying that Lindelof looks out of place in the Prem. I think Lindelof's had 2 good games in a row, but again, I suppose Lindelof's quite representative of Mourinho, isn't he? You know, he's going to have to do that for 10 games. It's not, 2 games isn't enough. He's got to do it week in, week out.
Yeah, he's played well. He's played well his last 2 games. I think he plays best with Bailly. When they play together, I think they just have a good understanding. But that's Mourinho's not a fan of that. So
corner for Bournemouth. Ashley Young's gone down. I think he's all right. We do not want Ashley Young going off. The solution is Darmian on the bench. I think he's all right. I think Matt is saying don't go off unless you can't run because.
Yeah. It just looks a little weird because it doesn't look like it's a contact injury unless there's something happened off the ball. But I didn't see any heavy tackles on Ashley Young, or haven't seen him had to make any heavy tackles. So it's always a worry when it's a muscle injury.
Here's the corner for Bournemouth, and we got it away, which is good. Andrew Rossi says, so far doing a much better job at keeping possession in the midfield and are putting bodies forward, hoping it pays dividends. Yes, there's definitely was a break on here with Sanchez, and it'll be a corner to United. So that quick break from one corner with Bournemouth, a few seconds later we've got a break and we've got a corner, which is, doesn't lead to an opportunity, but it's a very good point by Andrew Rossi that there is that desire from United to move the ball quickly, which is something that's been levelled against Mourinho so much, this lethargic, slow football, which over the last couple of games, to be fair, we haven't seen. I just don't see how Mourinho will do this against Juventus and City, though, Dan. But if he does, then great.
Yeah, absolutely. If he does, you got to say, credit to him. But it's just, we know what the story is. You're not going to see that football in Turin. You're not going to see it away to City. It's just going to be slow, slow, slow. Keep it in the middle. Let them have the ball in the
It's the long
in
shot.
non-dangerous areas and try to hit him on the break.
Bournemouth with a little bit of a mistake there from Aki. Intercepted by Fred. And then he's gone for a goal kick.
Yeah, but you just see the movement is so much better off the ball, like Alexis than Lukaku. It just he has the pace, he has the nous to get in to the areas that Lukaku won't run into. So
Well, we haven't got Martial. I mean, we're 10 minutes in. I would like to see us get the ball out wide a little bit. I mean, obviously not Mata, because Mata's not really a winger. So I think I was speaking to a Bournemouth fan last week, and they were saying, look, Simon Francis this year has done very, very well, but he is a bit of a weak spot for us, and that's their right back. Well, Martial's our best player at the moment, so I would like to see us get at him a bit.
yeah, no, they haven't even gone left. Haven't hit that ball left.
Another
once,
ball there,
really,
another
this
save
game.
by De Gea. There's a little chipped ball there. The striker gets on it for Bournemouth, and De Gea gets his body in the way, but
Yeah. Now there's a little bit of a break on.
the centre-back's not looking as solid as they maybe have done against Everton. Oh, here we go again. And wide. And a corner. I mean, they should be winning. Bournemouth should be winning this. 3 very good chances in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Smalling. That's another one. We get nutmegged on that one there. That's what it looked like from here. Let's see. Yeah, just slides in right behind him.
Another corner for Bournemouth. But United, just as I was saying there, and they created another chance straight after it. The centre-back pairing, especially around Smalling, they just seem a little bit, need to get their head on here at the moment. They're a little bit slow. Good header there. I mean, that's Luke Shaw getting his head on that. What a ball that is by Bournemouth again. That'll be 1-0. What a goal. It's a great ball. It's the reverse pass to get their winger in was absolutely super. I've got to put my hands up and say that goal was absolutely brilliant from Bournemouth, and it was coming. It was coming. We clear the corner, we all run out like a band of flamingos, and then the ball gets played down the right-hand side, one reverse pass, and he crosses it in, and they're queuing up. They're absolutely queuing up. I'll get your thoughts in a moment, Dan, but it's Shaw who clears it. We're all coming out like lethargic flamingos. A reverse pass takes 3 of our players out, and they're queuing up. They've got a 3v1 situation. It's embarrassing from a defensive point of view. This is embarrassing. The first pass takes about 8 of our players out, and the second cross, they've got a 3v1 situation. Just a very good goal for Bournemouth, but it highlights that our defence is just not switched on for this game so far, Dan.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you really can't attribute that to one person because they took out half the team with that pass. But Mourinho's you can see him now. He's fed up. And
defensively, we're shit though. I mean, they've had 3 good chances before that.
Yeah, they did. They actually should have probably had a couple goals. Fraser probably should have scored. Stanislas on that last one, but you don't want to go down to a team like this because they don't concede a lot, especially at home. It's a small ground, so the fans are going to be up for it now. They're ahead, so got a little bit of work to do.
Well, they've definitely moved the ball around a lot quicker than us in the final third. I mean, they had 3 chances before they scored. I mean, to be fair, if United had scored that goal, I would have loved it. It was brilliant. They went the reverse pass to get the player in down the right, and then they're queuing up. But defensively, it was a joke. We need to get back into this game a lot quicker because Bournemouth definitely worth their lead after 12 minutes.
No, yeah, they've been the better team. They've had the better chances. Getting in behind pretty easy.
We were talking about it though, Dan, weren't we? A lot of people in the live comments as well. I mean, Mr. Silas209's made a contribution saying Smalling equals Phil Jones. I like Smalling. I'd said I like Smalling, but as a starter to build a centre-back pairing round, I think you're always going to have issues, and he's just not that good.
Coming at us again here.
And he's having a bad game at the moment. And that's the trouble with Smalling. You can't play him week in, week out. I think he comes in and does a good job for you. for 3 or 4 games, but you can't build a centre-back partnership with Smalling. I think he'll always make mistakes, and today he just doesn't look switched on.
Yeah, it seems that everything that's coming at us is coming through him.
But a lot of people said in the live comments though as well, and they're right, right in a very apt way, because our right-hand side is weak. Ashley Young, I think he's a crap defender. I think he was a crap left-back, and he's a crap right-back. Matt has not got the pace. And Smalling plays on the right-hand side as well. So they're just getting in. They're in here again.
It's too easy.
Too easy. They could put this game to bed. I mean, I think United need to, they're a bit like a boxer in the first few rounds here. They're getting smacked about a bit. If we can keep it to 1-0, obviously we can always come back. We're a second-half team, aren't we? But we're on the ropes. Yeah. We're on the ropes. Matthew McFadden says, this is Eddie Howe's audition as a future United coach, and he's passing with flying colours so far. What's irritating me the most is that we're just not getting hold of the ball and feeding it out. Everything's going down the right-hand side. Mata's not a winger. Get it out to Martial and exploit their fullback. Sanchez and Martial at the moment may as well be sat on the bench with Mourinho.
Right, yeah, I was just going to say, we haven't done much in this game, and maybe it's because we haven't used the left side enough. It's part of it. But also, too, Matic, I just noticed in the last minute twice, giving the ball away, getting dispossessed. Bournemouth have busy forwards that are quick. And if he dwells on the ball too long, he's going to get it stolen. He's going to get it stolen off of him. And that's happened 2 or 3 times already in 15 minutes. So,
well, Marlon Bloomfield's just said that Matic is terrible. I said this the other week about Matic. I mean, I'm a lot older than I used to be when I played football, but I'd love to play against Matic because I know every time he gets the ball, he's going to take more than one touch, so you can get in on him. Everybody knows that. I just saw a great graphic up there. Well, it's not a great graphic at all. United are second bottom in the league for clean sheets. The only team below us is Fulham, who've had no clean sheets. I mean, whatever you say about Jose, whether you're Mourinho in or you're Mourinho out, you wouldn't be expecting that, Dan. I mean, if Mourinho can't keep clean sheets, he loses a massive part of what he's about. He is the king of the 1-0, 2-0 grind out, isn't he? So if his teams are conceding, it's no wonder he's struggling.
Yeah, didn't last year they led the league in clean sheets and with the same defenders. So,
yeah.
All this talk about having, we need better center backs and XYZ. It's just a bunch of nonsense, really, because you had the best defensive record in the league in terms of clean sheets with the same defense. Now all of a sudden, we've given up the second most goals in the league.
Yeah.
18 goals conceded or something. And what is this, game 8, 9?
Yeah,
and it doesn't
game 10, I think now.
Oh yeah. So it doesn't. They don't look like they're going to stop at 1 goal either. It looks like they have more goals in them. So.
Well, Bournemouth are absolutely dominating the game at the moment. United are just not in this, and we've got to be very. I just said there, if we can just obviously if we can get a goal before half time, great. But if we can just get to half time and still be in this, I'll be very happy at the moment because Bournemouth have got their heads up. They're feeling confident. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 300,000 subscribers. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. United Stand, we're live every night at 8 o'clock. We'll have fan cams after the game. There are some United fans there, even though the capacity's only 11,000. I don't even think
Martial's even touched the ball this game.
Yeah, but this is, I'd be very disappointed if there were United fans saying Martial's crap, because they clearly don't understand what football's all about.
He hasn't even seen the ball yet. And that... Yeah,
I mean, Bournemouth are just happy. I mean, Pogba's trying to press there, but if you don't press correctly, pressing football is great, but it's a total waste of time if it's only 1 or 2 players doing it. You've got to press as a team.
Yeah.
And you're never going to be able to press in the midfield when you've got Matic, because he hasn't got the speed to do it. I can still see us winning. That's why I'm not too downhearted yet. We've seen us come from behind against Newcastle, against Chelsea. We can do it. But what irritates me is that we will always have this first 20 minutes where we're shit. In fact, what we're going to have again is the whole United can't play for 90 minutes because we've had a terrible start. It's like we're asleep.
Yeah, a little early kickoff. Everyone's still napping. It's just that they're just passing the ball around us in the midfield way too easily, which... You'd expect that on their left side or right side because Ashley Young, but in the middle of the field they're kind of going right through us. Not a good sign.
Spenny D, thanks for the contribution. He says, what's your thoughts on Eddie Howe for the United job? I say a big yes. I don't really give it much thought myself, because I know that United would never go for a manager like that, because it's too much of a risk. It's not a big name. But Dan, what about you? Well, actually, Bournemouth on the attack again here. Cross coming in. It wasn't far away from the goal there. I mean, it was a cross, but it went about half a metre wide. De Gea was planted to the spot.
Yeah, something's not right. Almost 20 minutes in, have had one chance. Eddie Howe for United manager. Listen, if someone's going to come in and embrace the culture and play attacking football, care who it is. Really, I really don't even care. Just want to see this team that we've been watching our whole lives play the way that we know they're capable of playing. Week in and week out, not just in spotty performances. So.
Well,
that's the first time they tried to go down the left.
They're doing the throw against him, but everything in Mourinho's body now will be, how do I get Phil Jones on? How do I get Fellaini on? Well, you can't get Fellaini on because he's not there, thank God. You're going to have to try and play your way out of this. Red Jedi says, Matic has been our worst player for weeks. That signing was never going to be a long-term fix. Thanks for the contribution. I never wanted Matic, so again, I feel a bit justified in that. I don't think Matic has been good in a United shirt since probably a year ago. I think he had a good start in a United shirt, and everyone was like, you took the L, Mark. But I don't think he's been good for a year. I think he's looked tired, and now I think he looks finished, really. I just think I don't rate him, but Mourinho's never going to drop him. He loves him.
Then he played well up until basically this. I think it was about December last year, and after that, average to poor. Crystal Palace game apart, where he scored the winner. But yeah, it's going on almost 11 months, almost a year of substandard football, which your other option there is McTominay, which is a no for me.
Well, McTominay's on the bench, isn't he? Which is just ridiculous. I mean, why? What? Ooh, Martial, nearly.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying earlier, and that's what we were talking about earlier. Is so you're 1-0 down. Let's say you're 1-0 down on 60 minutes, or even worse. Let's say it's 2. Who's coming off the bench to make the impact? Because Rashford, as good as he is, he hasn't been playing great. Lingard's been out of the team for a while, so he's probably a little rusty. And those are your only 2 options. So
20 minutes gone. No pressing and long ball already, says Bayern. Yeah, the pressing seems to have stopped, and we've gone back to this pragmatic, deep football again. I mean, Mata's in the centre circle there, but he's in his own half. Lindelof, Matic, Smalling, playing triangles, Fred. We're way too deep. We're losing 1-0. But look at the way. But I mean, the perfect example there is people say you can't play 4-4-2 anymore. That's exactly what Bournemouth's formation is. It's there, 4-4-2.
Yeah, well, just there they had Juan Mata basically playing inside the center circle when he's supposed to be our right winger. This was it's just all over the place,
Said Jamie saying, I feel sorry for De Gea. Well, De Gea's a grown man, isn't he? If he wants to leave United, I don't think anyone would blame him, to be honest. I think the fact that he stays at us shows a lot of loyalty, because how many years is it since we won a title?
There you go, it's a little better. Man, Alexis gives the ball away so much.
I think he always did do that at Arsenal, to be fair.
Yeah, he's always trying something, which is why. And then Matic, I don't know what the hell that was, and they're in again.
A shot for Bournemouth, though. Stanislas that time, De Gea makes an easy save. But they've had so many shots on goal, Bournemouth. I mean, they'll probably get to the point soon where they'll be like, I think United are going to score in this game. So, but Bournemouth will be like, if we need the second goal. Because we can't continue to play this bad for the rest of the game. At some point, we're going to have to start doing something. There's too many good players on the pitch. That's a good ball from Young into Martial. Oh, Sanchez doesn't keep it, and it goes for a goal kick. The thing is, though, I did say before the game, Sanchez is probably going to be quite rusty.
Yeah, he hasn't played in
8 months.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, pretty much.
There is always
Just quick
there
on-
is always that concern, though, isn't there, with Sanchez? I mean, we all know what a great player he's been in the Premier League, but what if he has lost it? What if he is on the decline? What if we did buy a bit of a, well, I know we didn't pay anything for him, but we pay him good wages, and he might not be the player he was, and he might never get back to that. But
Yeah, I mean, they were all, Arsenal fans that watched week in and week out. They were saying that the whole year that last season that he wasn't the same player. So
I don't think United
maybe we
fans are
shouldn't be
arrogant
too
to expect
surprised.
to win this game. I've just seen a few people in there laughing about it. I think as any fan of any football club, you should have an expectation on your club when it's got so many good players in it. But what I would say after this first 20 minutes is that I wouldn't begrudge Bournemouth for being 2-0 up. I think the performance probably reflects a 2-0 lead. So at the moment we've got an opportunity to get back into this game that maybe we don't deserve. But what I would say is that United 11 should be doing a hell of a lot better than it is, and I don't know why it's not working out. I don't know why it's not. I probably do. You can predict it's the manager, but I still think that the players should be able to put in a better performance than this. But tactically, I have my concerns as to why we're not exploiting the left-hand side a lot. Everything's going down the right-hand side, our right-hand side. And I know why Bournemouth want to do that. I would do that if I was Eddie Howe. I would be, let's get at United down their right-hand side, because Young and Mata are the weak spot. But we've got to shift the play. We've got Shaw and Martial down the left. You've got Pogba who plays on that side. But they're just moving off all the time. It's simple 1-2s. There's another one here. Simple 1-2s. Cross comes in. Tell you what, I felt that could have been a penalty there with Luke Shaw on the Bournemouth player. I don't think it was Luke Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
It was Lindelof, actually. It would have been very, very soft, but he did knock him over.
Yeah, no, that was Luke Shaw. That looked like
Sally Devon Red 7 just said, how was that not a penalty? I mean, you don't like to see it as a United fan, and Shahar Mir says it could easily have been a penalty. I half expected the referee to put it down, so we might have dodged one there.
Yeah, I think the only reason why it wasn't was because Luke Shaw was looking at the ball there. The defender kind of just stopped and let him kind of just bundle him over. But yeah, you got to be careful. You don't want to. The next goal is very important, and you don't want them to get it.
Somebody just said it's not Mourinho's fault. I'd love to know whose it was.
The thing is that we have the team out there that we hold on there and again.
Matic isn't protecting the back line, says James Miller. I think that's spot on, mate.
Nah, yeah, he's gotten taken out. There was a passage of play a couple of minutes ago. He got taken out with 2 passes. Wasn't even near the ball. I think it's just he's looking at the ball. I don't think he's someone stands in your way like that. I mean, what really can you do there if you're a defender? But the thing you were saying before about the tactics and such, like, we have the team out there that most fans want to see. We have pace in the team, but good ball players in the team. But I can't even, it's almost a half an hour gone. I can't even remember a passage of play where we cut them open. So I don't even know what the hell we're doing with the ball when we have the ball, because we've just been turning it over, really.
What's Smalling doing leaving that there? Bloody hell. I think it's almost like, as United fans, we're just waiting for half time for us to come out and play better in the second half, and that's what we're used to, isn't it? And we probably will win in the second half, because Bournemouth have put a lot of effort into the first half, and they'll get to a point where they think, let's protect what we've got. But I do sort of feel that sort of that sort of feeling that let's get to half time and then sort it out. But it'd be very unfair, as you were saying, Dan, that it'd be very unfair to start having a pop at people like Martial, who's just had... That's a good interception there. I've got a bit of a break. It's not quick enough. Not quick enough on the break there. Good tackle by Shaw, and then we've slowed down again, and 5-yard passes, and Bournemouth get everybody back. I mean, that's a great ball by Pogba, but you've just played it backwards to your right back. It's like, you've got to go forward. Where are the triangles for us to do? Sideways from Matic. Sideways from Shaw, back from Martial, back from Shaw. It's so backwards the way we play football. Back by Lindelof. Sideways by Smalling. I mean, this is a break that we had 60 seconds ago, and we're now back in our own half.
Yeah, and
We
with
just
a
keep
small
possession
forward
for
up there,
possession's sake.
yeah.
We're not doing anything.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. We've had the ball in this game, but have we even made one chance in behind? Have we taken any of their players out with the chance?
And then Fred
Not
tries
at all.
and switches the play, and it goes out for a throw, and Bournemouth have got the ball back. I mean, that whole period of play of 60 seconds of sideways and backwards passing ends with the ball going out for a throw into Bournemouth. It's a waste of bloody time. We don't take enough risk. There's no point in having possession for 60 minutes then knocking it out for a throw-in. You may as well have took 10 seconds to lose possession and tried to do something. It's so counterproductive in the modern game to play that way.
Yeah, just strange because United started off well. The first 5 minutes they were getting Sanchez in behind. They looked like they were going to have a lot of pace in their attack, and since then we've just been slow. It's a good tackle.
John Sherrell says he'll take Fred off. Yeah, that's my concern as well. Maybe bring Herrera on. But yeah, Hayes is right. Good tracking back from Pogba there. There's a bit of an injury here for Bournemouth. Yeah, I think we might come back in the second half and win it. But at what point do you become quite irritated by that? I mean, I don't think, as I said, I wouldn't begrudge Bournemouth being 2-0 up. And if they were 2-0 up, would we be able to come back? At some point, we're going to play a team that puts us away in the first half. And then you're not going to be able to come back. We need to play for 90 minutes.
They, like we were saying, they haven't lost at home this year. They don't concede many goals. Well, I'll just got a question for you. Do you think it was the right thing to start Sanchez today, even though it was up front, and change the winning team that we had against Everton and with Rashford up there? Because he hasn't, like we were saying, he hasn't played in a few weeks. Sanchez, he's been out, he's been rusty.
It's a good point.
I'm not saying that's the reason why they're losing, but why change your winning team, especially one that played so well and should have had a 3, maybe even 4-0 win last weekend at Everton, and then you put Sanchez right back in there and haven't been able to do much. So
I did say when the team news came out that actually you shouldn't change a winning team, but I won't be a hypocrite. I did say that, look, in these circumstances, as much as I like Rashford, it's very exciting to see Sanchez playing. But you're right, that obviously it's a risk, and at the moment it's not paid off. And I think Rashford, I don't really understand why Rashford was substituted after only an hour for Lukaku last week, because I thought we were crap when Lukaku came on. But yeah, it's not working with Sanchez at the moment. But here's Martial, first chance to run at somebody. It doesn't work out. But you're right. I mean, we won last week and he's changed the winning team. But Mourinho, I don't think Mourinho is capable of not changing his team every week. I can't remember. I don't know whether there is a time where Mourinho's picked the same 11. I mean, there must be at least a couple, but it's very rare where he does that. But somebody was just saying there, no shots on target for United after half an hour, which I find disgraceful considering that you've got Mata, Sanchez, Martial, Pogba and Fred on the team. How have we not created anything? But here's a chance for Martial down the left. It's broken quite luckily. That should be a goal. Oh, that should be a goal. Too casual from Fred there. Martial puts it on a plate for him on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's way too casual down that is. He's got to put that in.
Goes off his shins or whatever the hell just happened. And then they're coming straight at us. They're going the other way, but yeah, I think like people were saying before, having Fred, look at this, taking out 2 guys.
Well, here's the chance again. It's Martial down the left. It's a lovely cross back, and it's going wide anyway. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like the keeper's diving, expecting a finish. It's terrible from Fred. That should be 1. That should be 1-1. What a chance. Bjorn Lundberg says Rashford should play as our number 9 because he stretches the opposition and always tries to run in behind. Rashford's movement creates space for the other players to attack. Well, let's just see what happens with this corner. But I think you're spot on. I think that's something I was going to say to you, Dan, and I think we'll get it clear, which is good. No, we don't. Yes, we do. the trouble with Sanchez is he wants to come deep all the time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he always wants to be on the ball and make something happen. And also, too, is, like, you could argue that Rashford probably has as much pace, if not more pace, than Alexis. He's bigger. He's probably more physical. So I think the change in the second half needs to be you put Alexis on the right, you sub Mata off, and you put Rashford up front. But he doesn't make subs at halftime. Sometimes he doesn't make subs at all. Like Juventus at home.
Juventus, yeah. Bloody hell, yeah. Moses says take out Matic and Mata for Herrera and Rashford.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. But I would do it where you take Rashford and you put him up front, and then you have Alexis on the right. But then, he's going to want to bring in Lingard. So who do you bring Lingard on for? Because what's going to happen is he'll sub Martial.
Well, Martial's just made it 1-1 there. That bit of play on the left-hand side to put it on a plate for Fred, that should be 1-1. That finish by Fred is shockingly bad for a professional footballer, to have the ball in your stride on the penalty spot and to pass it wide when you've just got a one-on-one situation. It's terrible, but it was good play by Martial, but he's had very few opportunities to do anything. Right, here's Ashley Young down the right-hand side. Too many touches again. No, Sanchez. Crook back. That should be a goal. Yes! Get in! Anthony Martial. 1-1 to United. There it is. Martial. I'm coughing. Martial FC. But he doesn't miss those. Fred sit down. Martial stands up. Good little cut back by Sanchez. Totally against the run of play from Manchester United. But this is the thing. If you don't take the chances, we're back in the game. And we've got the players if we do this. It's a nice little feed from Young into Sanchez. Cuts it back. And unlike Fred, who just had this chance, Martial doesn't miss it. No issues at all. No. Deadly with the left foot. Lethal. And Martial again makes it 5 goals in 4 Premier League games. Sit down, Mourinho. Your treatment of him over the last 8 months is banter-esque. This boy can play. And to be fair, with Martial's cutback, he hasn't got a clear run. He's got Bournemouth players jumping in front of him, a goalkeeper. There's 3 Bournemouth players there, and he still finds the back of the net when Fred didn't. 1-1, 1-1, Dan.
And it's on his weak foot. Very well taken. He's in excellent form right now. I think they're trying to say that there was a foul in the build-up to the thing, Fraser and Alexis, but listen, you can't keep him out of the team right now. If anybody should be playing, and now our level's gone up because now we're hunting the ball in packs. But you can't keep a player like that out of the team for long. And cream always rises to the top, as they say.
Yeah. I just love it. I mean, Alexis Sanchez set it up, but the great thing about it is that the great thing about that is that it was exactly the same chance that Fred had, that Martial had set up, and it was great. Then a couple of minutes later, you get Sanchez setting up Martial. No question. Fred should have scored it, but Martial's done it a few minutes later. Mike Thomas says that's who should play down the middle. Martial. I disagree. I think Martial off the left is so much better. Perfect example of what winning balls in the midfield will do. Martial must play every week, says Andrew Rossi. Well, at the moment he becomes. I've said this so many times, Dan. If Martial plays, Martial scores. You've got to play him consistently.
Absolutely, and he's almost getting to the point. I mean, that he's going to have a couple bad games, but he's almost getting to the point for me where he's getting on the fringes of being undroppable, which probably keeps Jose up at night because he probably can't wait to get him out of the team. But you're scoring every week, or he's creating something every week. Like I'd say if Pogba's coming into the box instead of Fred on that Martial cutback, that's probably 1-1 before Martial scores. So he's always got chances in him to create for himself or for other players. He's to me, he should be playing. He should be starting every week for the next 10, 15 games.
Well, I just find it ridiculous, and I think it's Sanchez is offside anyway. I thought it was 1-on-1 then. It was a good ball through. I just find it ridiculous with United when you look at Sanchez, the signing in January. The 3 Premier League games before it, Martial scored in every one. Sanchez comes in, drops Martial. Martial's hardly played up until recently. And then in the last 4 Premier League games, he scored 5 goals. Mourinho's just a clown in his handling of Martial. An absolute clown. And I love it. I absolutely love it now that people are sort of saying, oh, I might be Mourinho in. Well, that's great. You know, maybe I might be Mourinho in a few weeks' time. But the fact that Mourinho's had to totally sit down and take his medicine and start picking the team that the fans wanted all along. His treatment of Martial over the last 8 months has been scandalous. And he's been made to look a bloody idiot because now Martial is basically saving Mourinho his job. And he's got to keep picking him. And if he drops him, the great thing about this is that if he did drop him, he would be, Mata, this could be 2. Oh, just wide. Well, United are in the... Maybe we should have been 2-0 down to Bournemouth, but we're 1-1 and we're on the rise again now.
Yeah. I had actually thought Mata was going to try to finish that on the keeper's right-hand side.
Yeah, it was open, wasn't it?
He tried to go for the near post, but I kind of saw a typical Juan Mata curled finish there, but tried to go near post.
Good by Sanchez,
the worst,
though. Good knockdown by Sanchez.
Yeah, won the ball. For a little guy, he's pretty physical. He throws himself around a little bit, but I think the worst thing that's going to happen for us in this game is we're going to start to hit our stride, and then halftime is going to come.
Yeah, I think actually, I was just thinking that if we've been 1-0 down at half time, United in the second half are going to come out and play well. If it's 1-1 at half time, these things can then come towards Bournemouth, can't they? Bournemouth at half time might feel, how is that 1-1? Mourinho might go, ooh, let's be a little bit careful. It makes it a very interesting second half.
Yeah, Lindelof's done well there on Callum Wilson. He's been playing well last couple of games. But just back to what you were saying before about Martial and Sanchez, since Martial started his scoring back up against Newcastle, Sanchez hadn't started any of those games, had he?
No.
Right, he had injured, hadn't he? Yeah. So he's scoring 3 straight before Sanchez comes. Sanchez comes, didn't have a goal until the very end of the season, or actually he didn't score the rest of the season, did he? He just scored in the beginning of this year, and then. Sanchez has been out the last four games, and Martial scored in every one of them.
The thing is that Sanchez on the left-hand side just doesn't work. I mean, the setup from the goal there, he's on the right-hand side, and he crosses it with his right foot. He can't do that on the left wing. So I know you can have inverted wingers, but I just don't think Sanchez is a left-sided player. Genocide, 1996. In my opinion, it took us 2 years to get us Jose out. It's only fair he has to play good football for 2 years to get us back. I think 2 years might be stretching it. But Sam Imson says, you said 1-1 to United. This is still shambolic from us. Mourinho's still chopping and changing the team and has no idea what his best team is after 3 years. Well, let's just deal with what's in front of us at the moment. I mean, the first 20 minutes were absolutely crap. I'm just going to quickly take a toilet break, Dan, and leave you with it for a moment, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Read out some comments. Good effort there by Fraser, trying to beat De Gea on his near post. Had it covered. Bournemouth fans thought it was a goal. Dan saying Martial wants out. That's why he's playing good. Could be some truth in that. Still hasn't signed his contract, even though have the option for another year. Paul Cap, where has Pereira gone? Guess is as good as mine, mate, because it'd be a miracle if he finds his way back in the team. Seeb, what's going on, buddy? Mr. Manchester United still need another deep-lying midfielder because Matic is awful. Would agree with you 100% there. Too slow. Which city do I live in the USA, Merritt? I live in New York. I'm a city boy. Trevor G, I agree with you there, but it is a reflection of how we play in training, and I don't know what the hell we're doing in training because we clearly haven't been finishing the ball in training.
Back now for this free kick.
All we see is the chair. You're still a ghost.
I'm back now. You should be able to see me.
I don't.
You might be on delay.
Maybe.
So free kick to Bournemouth here. I've just come back to.
There he is. What a man.
No
Good
free
looking
kick,
fella.
says Oro. So, well, let's just see what happens with this. Decent situation, but you'd fancy to had a bloody big coughing fit there.
Yeah, when you were off in the toilet, Ryan Fraser had a one-on-one with De Gea that he put wide.
Bloody hell!
It seems to be the second time he's had a one-on-one. But
they'll be disappointed to be 1-1.
Yeah, I'll tell you what too. Stanislas can hit a free kick. I've seen him hit a few free kicks when he was at West Ham. He's hit a few with Bournemouth. He actually has a good curl on the ball.
Hit the wall.
I think it's a little.
Well, it looks like we'll make it to half-time. And I do think it was a good goal by United. Of course it was a good goal. And whether it's been deserved or not, I don't know. I think on the balance of play, Dan, I think Bournemouth will sort of feel the whole little club against the big club thing, isn't it? You work your arse off all half and then you go in level like you started it. But we did have two good chances ourselves.
Yeah, I think the fans and the club will be disappointed that they're not ahead by more. They've had a lot of very good chances this half. They just haven't taken them. Have another one here. Good block by Smalling. But, yeah, I think going in at 1-1, although there might be something on the break here for us if we do it correctly. No. Yeah, going in at 1-1, coming out in the second half. I'd probably still make the change of...
Ooh, could have been 2-1 there. Good block on Sanchez. We're pushing here in the last few minutes. We could go in ahead.
Yeah.
Martial with the cross. Bournemouth all clear. They wanted a penalty, I think.
I'm trying to say it was a handball. I'd still make the change of Herrera on for Matic. I just think that'll just get the ball out from back to front a lot quicker, make us more of a threat. That's not going to happen. So
I don't know what's going on with the referee here. Fred, our best player, says Patio. Eddie Howe in, Mourinho out, says play nice. Well, I think it's a very interestingly poised game for the second half now, Dan. I mean,
yeah, got to go for
Fred's
it.
doing there. It's a bit bloody embarrassing. He gets pushed and then he goes down clutching his knee. That's the old Brazilian trick, isn't it? I remember Rivaldo doing that. Ball kicks him on the knee and he goes down holding his face.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. Not on this squad anyway. But I do think that Fred. I mean, I know he missed that chance earlier, but he just gives us so much more in the midfield than a lot of these other, these slower midfielders we have. I think he's another guy too. You need to have him in halftime now. But I think you need to have Fred in the team consistently and. So he could understand the players he's playing with. Doesn't help when he's in there every third or fourth game.
I think he's spot on there. I think this is something that doesn't fit in with Mourinho. It is half time now, so just stop the timer. This is something that doesn't fit in with Mourinho. It's the whole consistency. I mean, Fred might not have a great game today, but he played well against Everton. So don't sub him off and then and play him against City. It's consistency. You'll get more out of these players if you play them regularly. I mean, Martial at the moment is probably keeping himself in the team because of the amount of goals he's scoring. But actually, if he had a bad game, I personally think, well, you still keep playing him because it's that consistency. But Mourinho always wants to change it. I mean, for me, looking on that half, Dan, and everybody in the live comments, give us your thoughts on it. My reaction is very, very pleased to be 1-1. And I do believe we can go on and win this game. But I've got to be honest and say that that Bournemouth, actually, on the balance of play, probably should be winning. I don't know whether I was go as far as to say that they should. It should be 2 or 3-0. But I think on the balance of play, they'll feel a little bit awkward. But that can only be a positive for United because we played badly in that half and we come out 1-1. Second half, we've got to go and have a good half.
Yeah, definitely got to come out. Like we came out in the first half well. The first 5 minutes we were actually playing well. We were getting in behind. After that, we just let them have the ball for the next 20 minutes. Yeah, they should probably be 2 or 3. I know Fraser had the first chance 1-on-1. He had another one at the end of the half while you were away. But listen, if you don't take the chances, then especially against a team like ours, we do have the attacking quality. It's just a matter of if we could unleash it. And saw there towards the last 10 minutes of that half that we were on the ascendancy. So hopefully we'll pick up where we left off in the second.
I mean, Bob Arno says that Matic on the pitch is boiling my blood. There's a lot of people talking about Matic, which I'm pleased to see, because make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, get involved with the United Stand. We're on the road to 300,000 subscribers, and I think United will be on the road to winning this game. But Matic, a lot of people, we were talking about it in the first half, he is an issue. He is an issue for Manchester United, I really do think, because he's so slow. And then when he gets the ball, he takes so many touches on it. But I think he's almost the last relic that we need to remove from that team, because Fellaini's not playing at the moment because of injury. Lukaku's not playing, and I think we're a better team for that. But Matic, if you think, even if it was Herrera or Pereira, which is what a lot of people want, he makes us so weak. The triangles they play through is because Matic isn't defending his back four.
Yeah, there was a couple passages of play that Bournemouth had that they took out. It was just a simple 1-2 with the player, takes Matic out of the play, and then they're in behind. So now your guy who's protecting your back four is totally wiped out, and that's part of the reason why they were coming at us a lot down the middle in that half. But I think if people say Matic out long enough, maybe Jose will listen, because we've been asking for Martial. Now he's got Martial. We've been asking for Sanchez up front. Now Sanchez is up front. It's the last bit that we got to take care of, and then we'll move on to Smalling at centre back. But
he has a lot of time in the Lowry Hotel, Mourinho, and I think he spends a lot of that time watching the United Stand, reading your live comments. So yeah, I agree with Dan. Get right in it, and hopefully he will read it. But look, I don't know how old Matic is now. I think he must be around 30, but it's only going to get worse. He's just not got the movement or speed anymore for that position. And I know it's very easy to say, well, I'd love to see a Kante in that role, but I would like to see a player like that in that role. I think a Fred, Pogba and Kante type player, and of course we're not going to get Kante, because that's a bit like saying, well, I'd like to have Messi in the team, but there are a lot of midfielders out there that are similar to Kante that you can go and get, and that's what I think United need. I think Matic is holding us back a little bit. Andrei Semenovsky has made a contribution. He says, look at Smalling and Young. Our bench can't stop wondering, how did we get second place? The bench is a concern. You mentioned the bench, Dan. Realistically, Rashford and Lingard are the only real attacking options on there. Would you make any? I mean, he doesn't make changes. You said that at half time, but would you be looking to make any changes at the moment?
I think the first one would be because Mata started to come into that game towards the end of the second half, about first half, before that, wasn't the last 10 minutes, right? And he had actually a decent chance to score. What I would do is I would take off Matic and I'd bring on Herrera, because he's going to get the ball out quicker from his feet to the midfielders, which is really what happens when you have a forward line like we do that has pace in it. Mata apart, you're gonna want to get the ball out quick to them. You're gonna want them to get in behind, and I just think that would start by taking Matic off and bringing Herrera on. I'd leave on Mata till about maybe the 55th, 60th minute, and then if it's still 1-1, bring on Rashford and I'd put him up front instead of Sanchez.
Sports Stories made a contribution. Thanks for that. He says Matic and Smalling are awful. Remember, you can do that through the $ at the bottom of the live comments, but make sure you leave us a comment so we can shout it out for you. I think Smalling's had a very bad game, and I don't want to go in on him too hard, but I just think that two things with Smalling. I've said I like him. I think he's a brilliant option to have on your bench or as a backup, because when your centre backs get injured, I don't think you can have Smalling in his first choice centre back and expect to be anywhere near the top four, because he will make mistakes. And I think today he's just having a bad game today, Dan. It's just, as I say, I mean, these things can happen, but he is having a bad game. But we are 1-1.
Yeah. Just going to read out a quick comment here by Chris Thompson. Says, Matic is in a bad moment. You guys just want something to moan about. Hey, he's been in a bad moment for about 8 months. So, you know, if not now, then when? You know, you can't be carrying players. Mark, you say it all the time. This is not a club that we can afford to carry players, and you can't. Probably you could say that we're already carrying Ashley Young and we're carrying Smalling. You don't need to be carrying Matic as well. You know, the less players you have to carry, the better. You might get away with carrying one player, but certainly not three. And in a position as important as center defensive midfielder, can't just be allowing this guy to get beaten to the ball every time there's a 50-50. I mean, when was the last time he won a 50-50? I can't remember. You know, so and that's where it all starts. He's the base. He's the base of that midfield. If everything runs through him, no coincidence that Leicester won the league with Conte and then Chelsea won the league with Conte the next year. You need a player like that. So I'm just gonna throw this out there at you. What do you think about maybe who'd be a good buy, who'd be cheap, and he's kind of out of favor at Spurs? What about Victor Wanyama?
Well, he'd do a job. He'd certainly do a job in there, and I think there are. Ndombele's been mentioned from the French league. There's a lot. You know, it's like Bournemouth today, isn't it? It's like Bournemouth. It's like Derby. It's like Wolves. A lot. You know, people talk about Man City and Liverpool and their pressing, attacking, passing football. But a lot of teams are doing it now. We've seen Bournemouth do it today, as I said, Wolves and Derby. And Kante is obviously always the go-to player. But there are a lot of midfielders around European football now who are maybe not as good as Kante, but they're up and coming to be better. Or there's people like Wanyama as well. I think Dan's absolutely spot on. I think for me, it's more about changing the style of centre defensive midfielder we've got. Because we're not going to get Kante, but we certainly need a different style of CDM. Matic is a physical, tall player. Takes too many touches and is too slow. That's not, for me, what you need at this level of football in the Premier League anymore. I think it leaves you exposed because teams are just passing triangles around him.
Yeah, good comment here actually from Abraham. He said, what about Fosu Mensah playing there?
Oh, exactly. I think maybe he's not quite ready for it. I certainly think he'd be better suited to it than right back, but yeah, he'd be brilliant for it. Absolutely brilliant. Barry Reid says, are you doing a watch along for Arsenal v Liverpool? I was thinking about it, Barry, but I'm not going to do it for two reasons, really. One, I don't feel particularly great. And two, I think I'm going to go out and have an Indian tonight because I've heard that Indians and everything like that are quite good for you when you've got a cold and stuff because it's got loads of garlic and stuff there. So I'll be out for that. I think there's a game at 8 o'clock tonight as well. I think Spurs are playing, which is... I hate that. I hate the 8 o'clock on a Saturday night game. Super Scotty Boy 88 says, does it show the whole pitch if you moved your chair? Been subscribed for over a year and I've always wondered we will win second half 3-1. Yeah, if I move my chair, the whole pitch is behind me, yeah. Thanks for the contribution. I'm not going to move the chair though because I can't. Right, thoughts on the second half then, everybody, in the live comments. United 1-1 here. I did say that, Dan, that I suppose I thought it'd be 1-0 at half-time and then second half we'd see Bournemouth probably sit on their lead, United go for it, United win 2-1. Obviously the dynamics are slightly different now. Bournemouth are not leading, it's 1-1. They'll probably feel a little aggrieved with that. Does that make us less likely to attack and more open to Bournemouth to attack, or do you think we will just see United go for it and Bournemouth have to sit back?
I think you're going to start to see them sit back a little bit because to the end of that half, we were on the ascendancy. They are going to be a threat on the counterattack going forward because they do have pace, but I think they'd be happy just not saying they're gonna play for the draw, but I think they'd be happy to get a point. Would be a good point for them. They'd still keep their unbeaten record at home intact, and then that's kind of just gonna allow us to attack the game. It's just a matter of if we will. So I think that's what we'll see.
A draw for us just popped into my head. I mean, what does everyone think on the live comments? I mean, Alfie Fielding just says, can't stand Jermaine Genius. How's he a commentator? Thanks for the contribution, Alfie. I do agree with you. I think he's very boring. I thought he was a very mediocre footballer. I don't know how he's ended up with a big gig as a pundit because I find him dull and boring, but maybe that's why they like him. But a point for United, Dan. Is that a good result?
No, bad result. Absolutely bad result. These are the games you got to win. They already lost away to Brighton, so
I do agree. I think some people say, "Oh, we drew," but you can't afford draws now. You can't afford draws when you're losing to Brighton and you're losing to West Ham. This is 100%. I always say Would Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea win this game? Yes, they would.
Yeah, definitely. And that, as Mourinho would say last week, we're aspiring to be Everton. The bigger teams, they find themselves in a game like this, they're going to turn it on in the second half, and 9 out of 10 times they'd win the game. And if they winded up drawing, it wouldn't be because of lack of trying. So if we throw everything at them and they still can't get the breakthrough goal, then so be it. But don't come out in the second half and create 2 chances and then wonder why you came home with a point.
I think we're going to win it. Do you still think we're going to win it, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to go on and score 2 goals in this half, at least 2 goals.
We need to buy Ruben Neves to replace Madic, says John G. Thanks for that contribution, pal. 1 point away is good, says Barazaki Salim. I think you need to look at the league table, mate. Especially when we've got City next week. This game is a must-win. We've got to win this game. Sheraz Kamath Fitness says, I think Jose analyses the opponents during the first half and then directs the team a certain way. We never turn up in the first half. So happy for Martial. And Peter Abati says, I'm a big fan and I hope Manchester United don't come to cheer in playing like that. Matic needs to get subbed out and I'm glad at least Lukaku is getting rested. And Pereira would be a good CDM. Jose won't play him though, says Kevin Lopez. Well, look, Pereira's out of the team. Pereira's not even on the bench so that he can bring McTominay in. That says everything about our manager. But the starting 11 today, I think he's sort of forced to do it, but there's no reason to have McTominay on the bench today. Against the team that is a footballing team, why do you need a lanky, slow player when you've already got Matic there? I don't see why McTominay's there. Pereira suits this game way more, but that's Jose for you.
Yeah,
but
really,
I think we're going to win it. I think we'll win it in the second half. I think the quality will come through. And I do detect a little bit of frustration on Bournemouth's part because they probably shouldn't be 1-1. And that's something that we can use to our advantage. And we do need to win this game. And I think for that reason we will.
Yeah, these are the types of games you got to win. They got to get 3 points here. Whatever you get at City, you get. Then you got a decent run of home fixtures. It's about picking up points and 3 points where you should be picking up 3 points. And if we can't do that, then there's no way we could get back into top 4. So
I'd go as far as to say if we don't win today, I don't think we'll get into top 4 because the 3 points today are absolutely huge. And when you look at the Premier League table, if we draw today, we'd be on 18 points. But there's Everton and Wolves who can move past us, so we could drop down to 10th again. But it's more about what's going on ahead of us. We'd still be 3 points behind Bournemouth if we drew. If Watford were to win, they'd go 3 points ahead of us as well. 4 points ahead of us. Tottenham win, it becomes 6 points. So we've got to win. You've got to win. The issue with United at the moment, I think the reason we're on about why we've got to win is because we're playing catch up already. We can't afford to lose any more ground, and obviously losing's bad, but drawing is not good enough for us now. I think I'd take a draw at City because that's a very, very tough place. I'd take a draw at Anfield in December, but I don't think we can go anywhere else and say a draw is a good result for the next few months. Players are coming out. I doubt there'll be any changes. As Dan says, he never makes changes, and the key players are out there, so there are no subs.
Just want to see us be a little bit better on the ball in the second half, really, because I think in the first half we were giving it away too much. Just get the ball down, get it forward quick. That's how, with Martial on the left and Sanchez running to the middle, that's how you're going to be able to get at teams. So, ball down, quick to the feet.
Stephen Featley says, fans saying 1 point from this game shows how Man United's expectations have fallen under Mourinho. With expectations like that, no way you'll get top 4. I would agree. Good comment. As I said, I've got no doubt that from this position, if they were 1-1, City, Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool would go on and win this game, and that is what we've got to do. And I think we will do it, but Bournemouth on the attack there. Pogba just has to boot it out for a throw-in. So we've got to get our momentum going again here. It's important that the first few minutes of the half that we get on the front foot. Otherwise, the game could dictate itself very similarly to the way the first half did. Remember, subscribe if you're new, bottom right-hand corner. Road to 300,000. United stand live every weeknight at 8 o'clock. We'll have fan cams afterwards. Flex is there. He did manage to get a ticket. God knows how, because I think they've got the smallest attendance. Well, a lot smaller than most Championship clubs, really. 11,700. Which is amazing for a Premier League club. And it just shows what a great story Bournemouth is, really.
Yeah, playing in a sandbox
Yeah.
in front of about 4 people. But it's actually probably why they've been so good at home, actually, because they have such a tight, intimate ground, and there's, most of the fans, they don't get a lot of traveling fans in there with the ticket allocation, so they are tough at home. But if we bring the game to them...
Good play by Martial here. Oh, I thought he could have took a tumble there, but it was a good tackle in the end.
Maybe he was a little conscious about last week when he was getting accused for diving.
There's a good comment in there from B. Yakov again. He's saying that Jose wanted Boateng. I must admit, I totally agree with it, mate. How he ever thought Boateng would suit the fast-paced Premier League, I just do not know. I think he would have been absolutely exposed.
It's a foul there. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think actually if he... it's credit to the board there for not bringing in Boateng, because if he brought him in, I mean, imagine the goals we'd be conceding. So, egg would be all over Jose's face there, big time. And he's always hurt, and he used to play for City. Not for me.
Martial is seeing a lot more of the ball now, okay? And I think that's key to this game. I think if we can get Martial on the ball, and I'd be pretty sure Mourinho will have said that in the dressing room, stop messing around down the right-hand side and move it to the left. Another bad mistake by Bournemouth here, and United are on the break with Pogba. Bad first touch. But we're forcing them into mistakes, and that is... Because they try to pass out from the back, Bournemouth, and there's a couple of times we've been able to sort of nip in there and have 3v3 situations.
Yeah, Fred actually done well there. I didn't think that was as clear cut as a foul, but it's good to see him come up there, get pressing.
He's good at nicking in there, Fred. Actually, he's good at nipping in and making an interception, which is something that we haven't really had at United.
No, not from the midfielders. But my only worry is if him and Pogba start to press, Matic isn't going to press, and then if they do get around it, they have one midfielder to beat, and it's a 30-year-old dinosaur. So
Matic read that. Here we go, Martial. Oh, not a great first touch. It could have been, if he'd have got that touch inside a bit. Not a good cross either. That wasn't the best by Martial, to be honest.
Nah.
Fred's been a beast, says Jermaine Daclay. He's been good. I just think it makes a lot of difference to Paul Pogba to have a player next to him who's got the same tendencies to want to attack. You put Fellaini and Matic with Pogba, and every opposition just swarm Pogba because the other two have got no creativity.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. That's why that's the same reason why when we have Lukaku playing up front, and when Martial's on the left, teams will double, triple team him because there's no threat of the ball getting controlled at Lukaku's feet. So they all, they press Martial.
Oh, what a save by De Gea! That should have been 2-1 to Bournemouth. I tell you what, we're living danger. It was a lovely play by Bournemouth again down the left hand side, and it's another fantastic save by De Gea. I'm sure we're probably going to win this game, but Bournemouth will just be like, what? I tell you, it would have been a good goal as well, the way he flicked it.
There's backheeled it. I'll tell you what, Ryan Fraser, I said before the game, I like him a lot. He's a very, very good player. Young, very quick, scrappy, but he's good on the ball. He's got a good cross in him. Really doesn't try to do too much with it. Makes a smart play, 8 out of 10 times. But yeah,
I just got a funny feeling we're going to win this game, because I think it's just it's the sort of result that Jose will get, because he is lucky at the moment, and I just think that we'll win this game and Bournemouth will be like head in hands. How did we lose it? That's a great save by De Gea, though. And again, they're just getting in down our right-hand side. We're just rubbish. From game one as well.
Yeah, well, Ashley Young only comes to play when we're going up against the top 4 side. So probably next week against Sterling, he'll be
Yeah.
he'll
He'll
look
have
like
a good
Gary.
game then.
He'll look like Gary Neville. That was close to being could have been a handball there for Smalling. Hit him pretty high up.
Well, we ride. We ride another corner there. Nothing happens with it.
Yeah, we haven't really started off well in this half. Haven't done much. Haven't been able to get on the ball.
I think that was sort of trying to say badly in the first half is that I think that in some ways we would have been better off to be 1-0 down at half time because we'd come out in the second half with much more impetus. I think 1-1 we're still a little bit, well, we're not losing, let's be pragmatic about it. There's no urgency there from United. It's almost like we need to be losing a game to go for it. Referee's just given us a right good chance there. Martial, 1-on-1. Ref could get an assist here. Good header by Aki. Would have been very fortunate for United if we'd got a goal from that because the ref got in the way of the pass from Bournemouth. But Herrera's coming on. It's got to be for Matic.
I think it'll be for Fred. I'm going to say he'll come on for Fred. He's never going to take Matic off.
Luke Shaw's just gone in the book. If he takes Fred off, that's a joke. I mean, Fred's been one of the better players.
Yeah, I'd say off the ball, doing the work to win the ball back and get the attack started. I think he's been very good. When he's had the ball, he's given it away a few times, and I know that just boils Mourinho's blood, and any excuse to take a player off, he will. So I just don't see him coming in for Matic.
Martial's nearly in there, keeper, just getting it. I mean, to be honest, if he takes Fred off for Herrera, though, that just makes us more defensive. At least it's not McTominay. Oh, lovely play there by Martial. Luke Shaw just blasted it home. Oh, that was brilliant by Martial. Martial would have had another assist there. He should have had 2 assists today, Martial. Fred should have scored. Shaw should have scored then. Lovely flick by Martial. Shaw give and go. And he's running through and the keeper makes a great save. But that should have been United 2-1, whether it's deserved or not.
Yeah. Got in 1-on-1. He tried to put it through his legs.
Corner
Hit a good save.
This is the thing. If you go out, this is what has annoyed me. He's making a double substitution. It is going to be Herrera and Rashford, so you would expect Mata off for one. But if you get at Bournemouth, you can get chances. I just think we've not gone on the front foot enough in this game.
No, yeah, but this is usually the case every week. I mean, most weeks, a lot of these teams are there to be got at, and we'll give them the impetus and stay off the ball. So. We should be doing this week in and week out, and I think that's the frustrating thing for us fans is could play like this most weeks. Okay, sometimes you're gonna have a tough game, a Liverpool away or a City away,
so
and you might have to play a little bit more defensive. Yep.
They're very early substitutions, so he obviously feels that we need to get onto this game. Fred for Mata. Fred for Herrera. Bloody hell.
not for me. He should be coming on for Matic.
Well, I like Herrera,
Doesn't-
so I think he can certainly help us out. But I don't agree with that. Why is again? He did this against Wolves though. He took Fred off very early, and it was premature. Oh well. John Sherrill,
Pogba
maybe he's
should've-
resting him for Turin. Why? We need to win this game. I don't think we're expected to win in Turin. You know, the Champions League is going to come down to the game against Valencia. The Juventus game is more or less, we'll probably lose anyway, but you don't take people off after 55 minutes unless you're doing it because you want to do it.
Especially when they're trying to get a run in the team. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's going to play Fred. I don't think he's going to play Fred at Juventus anyway. He'll probably play McTominay.
Just ridiculous.
Raphael says, anyone else happy with a draw? Absolutely not. Going to Bournemouth and drawing is nothing to be happy about. So, Rashford looks like he's gone up in the middle, like we were talking about. They put Alexis on the right.
Well, interestingly enough, Robert McCormack says that Fred's been terrible. I mean, it's interesting. I remember Fred playing against... was it Leicester the first game of the season? And I thought he played well. Some people thought he played well. Some people thought he played terrible. So
Yeah, you also have here, you have Ragul saying Fred was brilliant. Lekai Oscar right underneath that says Fred played badly.
yeah,
Peony Adams said Fred wasn't playing all. Yeah, I think he wasn't. I don't think he was great, but I don't think he was terrible either. I don't think his performance merited getting subbed off this early, or
it's
maybe even getting subbed off at
the
all.
hypocrisy, though. That's the problem, isn't it? It is the hypocrisy because it's like Matic plays shit for 8 months and
Herrera's
never
already
gets
hurt. Well, hopefully he'll stay on, but hobbling around. Might get his wish and bring on McTominay, play him with Matic. But yeah, you're 100% right. Matic has been missing for, over half a year. But, he'll play week in and week out. Tell you what, I'd like to see Pogba pick it up a little bit for the rest of this game. He's been mediocre today.
Yeah, he's been a bit quiet, hasn't he, Pogba?
But this is the type of game, he'll get a half of a chance, or he'll get a good ball to play into somebody like a Martial or a Sanchez, and
Oh, good chance there. Sanchez headed it. Smalling gets it across. Sanchez header, and Begovic just tips it over the box. But I think these are the games that people like Paul Scholes and a lot of Pogba critics talk about and say, and it gets conceived that they're Pogba haters. But I do sort of agree with them. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Pogba, but these are the sort of games where Paul Pogba should be running the game because it's Bournemouth or it's West Brom last year, and he sort of disappears a little bit. And I think a player of his quality should be absolutely running the game. I think there's been a lot of effort from Pogba. I always say that. I think it's very unfair when people say he doesn't try, but Bournemouth aren't a bad side, I suppose. Cross from Young. Again, nobody getting on the end of it. Herrera shoots wide.
I got 30 minutes.
Lingard for Matic. I don't know how that would work, but I'm sure he'd do a better job as a CDM.
Well, I think maybe they're saying drop Herrera back as a CDM and bring Lingard up as a midfielder, but he's not a midfielder, is he? Unless he's a 10. So maybe you go.
We've been better defensively this half. I mean, apart from that great save by De Gea, we haven't been giving up as many chances, and maybe that's what Mourinho's substitutions are about, really. Getting Rashford for the break and Herrera to be better defensively.
Well,
Like
I
I
see
say, I think
McTominay
it would have been
won't
better
have.
if we'd have been 1-0 down at half time, because we would have shown a lot more urgency for 45 minutes. And there's not a lot of urgency from United in this game. I think we're trying to nick a goal and defend well.
Yeah. You all right?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I'm struggling. I've had it for about a week now. Just a tickly cough and a cold. Backward passing again. Look.
Yeah. Backwards.
It does feel like Bournemouth are starting to run out of steam a bit. We've just got to go for it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying at halftime. Was I just felt like they would come out and they wouldn't really, they wouldn't play with the same attacking flair that they had in the first half. I think they're comfortable in the position they're in, and then it's up to us to bring the game to them. So
Yeah. We've made 2 subs, Peter Egan. Herrera came on for Fred and Rashford came on for Mata, which I thought was a bit premature on both, really. I would have given them at least till sort of 65 minutes, but he did that on 55 minutes, which was very, very early. But I think the Herrera one had a little bit more defensive thoughts to it, whereas Rashford's obviously to give us a little bit of pace on the break.
yeah, I think the Rashford. Well, here's Ashley Young here.
Free kick. That'd be a yellow card.
I think the Rashford substitution was at the right time, but I would have left Fred on there at least at the 65th minute, because I think he just gives the midfield something different that we haven't had in a couple of years. Rashford, though, for Mata makes sense at that time.
Why did Chelsea sell Ake, says Kahia? I don't know, he's a good player. Chelsea don't use any of their youth, though, do they? They've got loads of it and they don't use it.
Yeah, they're already talking about probably they're going to have to sell Christensen, who last year was one of their best defenders.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't played all season.
Well, David Luiz has come back, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Free kick to United anyway. You got Matt. Who's on that? It was not Matter, is it? It must be Luke Shaw with the left foot and Ashley Young. And we've got the height here as well.
Yeah, they're not very tall at Bournemouth.
How the hell did that not go in? I thought we'd scored. What? I thought he was going to say over the line,
God.
goal. The bloody hell.
Who had the follow up after Rashford's shot got blocked? Was that Pogba?
It's a brilliant free kick by Young, to be fair. Hits the bar, comes back. Rashford, brilliant block by Ake, and then Pogba. Oh. How did we not score? How did we not score? Everyone's just going WTF. I was like, how did we not score? Rashford absolutely weathers it. Ake gets his body in the way, and then Pogba just can't get the connection. It's definitely not a handball. I think we're trying to say Ake handballed at it. I mean, it's a bloody missile thrown at his chest, and it's not a handball. But
I'll tell you what, half of that ball was over the line, but not the whole thing. That was half in the goal.
If Pogba gets a good connection there, Rashford's, to be fair, Bournemouth ride their luck is what I would say there. How does that not go in? We've got to use it though. Take the momentum. Here's Pogba. They're hanging on. They're hanging on a little bit now. Ironically, we needed Lukaku to take a first touch in that position. Would have blasted it in the net, says Matthew McFadden.
Probably would have kicked it out of the stadium.
Darth Raven says Rashford had the whole net to put that in, and he blasted it straight at the defender. I'm not going to be too harsh. At the end of the day, you could say Pogba should have scored as well. I just think in the heat of the moment, you blast it, don't you? And you know.
Yeah, I think he did the right thing there. He just made a good block. Because what's your other alternative? He takes a touch and, and then 2 guys tackle the ball from him. So damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you don't score there.
It's Pogba. We're getting a lot more going on now. I think Rashford's gone number 10 anyway. Yo, I thought that was in. I was there.
Yeah,
Ander
me
Herrera
too.
on the edge of the box. Curls it wide. He's holding his head himself. It can't have been far off. Again, we're getting a lot of joy with these cutbacks. Herrera.
It's two decent. That's two decent chances he's had since coming on. Actually, tough to score. I'll tell you what, didn't miss that
Momentum
by
at
much
United
at all.
now.
Eesh.
Pogba's gone up a gear as well. A lot of people talking about that in the live comments. See, I was going to say Bournemouth haven't made any substitutions, have they? I think they're going to make some now. They've not been in the game really for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, I'd say United got to get their goal. I'd say in the next 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes, because I think if it starts creeping into that 80-minute mark, we always tend to play it safe.
Oh, he's in. Who's that? Rashford against Ake. Pace. Oh, he's got back at him. He's a good defender, that Ake, to be fair. You see, you've got Rashford down the middle now. Sanchez has gone to the right.
Yeah.
I think he changes things too quick, I do. Nice little ball, that. Oh, Smalling did well there. If he'd left his foot in, that could have been a pen. See, Martial's not really been...
Tell you what, Ashley Young has been getting... Not in the second half, no. But Ashley Young has been getting toasted. This whole game, really.
Oh, good ball into Pogba, wide. He's getting forward a lot. Better from United now, though. Much better from United. They're knocking on the door. Substitution for Bournemouth. I think Rashford in that central position, you were talking about it, Dan, in the first half. Rashford in that central position, I mean, obviously he's still got flaws to his game, but his pace and movement does cause teams problems. We saw it for Everton last week. I don't think Rashford had a great game, but what he did do is he created a lot of space for other people, especially for people like Pogba, as we've seen already.
Yeah, I think the finishing definitely needs work, but he's much more suited up there than he is out wide, because he gives the defenders a lot to think about, constantly making runs off the last man. His movement is very good. If his finishing was as good as his movement, he'd be having 20 plus goals a season. But it opens up the middle of the field for Pogba and them to come through also. So I prefer him up there to Alexis. That is a terrible kick out.
I think we will win this game, because I think the momentum's with us. But I still just look at this United side and it raises more questions than it does answers, because I just don't know what he's changed two very big things in this first half or in the second half already, and you're like, okay, so you've got rid of Fred, you've got Herrera on, you've put Rashford up front, you put Sanchez to the right. When Lukaku's fit, he's clearly going back up front. So it's just like, we're a game-to-game team, really, aren't we? There's no... Unfortunately, unlike, what Liverpool and City get, where they know their team, they know the way they're going to play. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get that at United. We are pretty much a game-to-game team.
Yeah, probably not going to get that with this manager, because, like we've all been saying, we don't even know what his best team is. So it's difficult for the fans to know what their best team should be, because the manager doesn't know what his best team should be. But yeah, just going forward, it's...
Oh, that ball
like
was... You were right. I thought it was on the line. It's not.
Oh, it was half over. More than half over.
Definitely on the front foot. Yeah, United definitely on the front foot at the moment. I will never make the mistake of Kevin Keegan. I think it was England, Romania in a tournament a few years ago, and he said there's only one team going to win this. He meant England. Yeah, I tell you what, the ref was going to stand Stanislas off there, and then he realised he'd already booked him. Basically, put his foot in the way of a free kick. He was going to book him, and then he realised, and he didn't do it. I think that's weak refereeing there. You can't just book somebody because they've not been booked, and then not give them a second yellow because you don't want to send them off for it. An offence is an offence. United definitely in the ascendancy at the moment. Is a draw good enough? No. I don't think this will be a draw, though. I think there's another goal to come in this game.
It's a good ball by Lindelof.
You know, we are actually playing at the moment like you would see, not on the same level because they're better teams, but we are playing like we're a Spurs or a City now in this last 20 minutes, the bigger team trying to get the win. Played by Martial into Herrera. Bournemouth clear. And this is good from United because I did worry about the last sort of 10-15 minutes whether the game will be dictated by the team who's trying to win it, and at the moment it's just trying to win it, which means that hopefully it will stay like that for the last 20 minutes. We don't want to be the team defending.
No, yeah. Got to be very careful not to get caught out because they do have pace up front on the break, so...
But I think Jose's fully aware down himself that, you know, he knows a draw isn't good enough at this point of the season. You've got to get the 3 points. If he wants to be in the top 4 by Christmas, he's got to win at Bournemouth. You've got, you know, much the same as Palace at home. You've got to win these games.
Yeah.
City away and Liverpool away in December, they're bonus games really. I mean, if you don't get beaten, you get a point, you'll take that. But you can't accept a point in a game like this when you're playing catch up.
No. Especially when you have the midfield and the attacking talent that they have. You know, if we were decimated by injury, you know, fine. But this team has way too much talent in it to not go to places like this and win. You know, and that's not taking anything away from Bournemouth, and that's not trying to be arrogant. That's just talent-wise, one of the better teams in the league. So
we're doing really well at the moment. We're playing really, really well.
Yeah, all over them, keeping them in their own half. Lindelof played well this game, I think.
Yeah, another good game.
And he's distributing the ball well out of the back, which is good to see. You know, like Rance always says, good. He's a good ball playing center back. Very good with the ball at his feet. It's like they're making a change here.
For Bournemouth, Ibe coming on for Fraser, so it gives them a little bit of pace on the break as well. We just got to be careful on the break. There's a lot of people in the live comments saying that, you know, we've got this game, we should get it done, but we've got to be a little bit careful on the break because we are going for it, and as we know, United's defence can leave the door open at the back sometimes. I think a goal now for Bournemouth, the best we could get is a draw. So 15 minutes to go.
I'd probably say that United are a lot of substitutions. Yeah, I mean, I know we have one more, but I don't see who you'd bring on. Lingard, I guess, is your only attacker. But who are you going to take off?
The only one he can take off really is I could probably take Sanchez off. I don't think Sanchez has done a lot since he's gone out to the right. I mean, these are problems Mourinho's got long term. You know, you put Sanchez up front. I thought he did okay, but for the last half an hour, you've put Rashford back there and you put Sanchez to the right, who again looks very similar to what he looks like on the left. But I think when you grasp that United are a bit of a chameleon that just play game to game, you know, we came second last year doing it, so Bournemouth on the attack here at the moment. Well, with possession attack, I wouldn't say they're attacking.
just wondering now if they're going to bring on Jesse, because yeah, it's funny. These are the type of games you kind of.
Good header that by Herrera. It was a lovely cross,
Yeah.
and it's one of them sort of crosses where you think someone's going to get it on the end of it, and fortunately Herrera just flicked it out for a corner. Be a little bit careful here.
But can't be letting them score from a set piece. They're small.
Get rid of Martial. Still got it, Bournemouth here. With the corner. And get careful, United. Yeah, we should not be conceding from corners because we are a lot bigger than them.
They have double the amount of corners as United.
Get on the end of that. Oh, too high. Good. Goal kick to United. So we've weathered that storm. Lingard's coming on, Dan. You were right. Sanchez.
Martial. Yeah.
Yeah, Sanchez.
All right. Yeah, it wasn't great, wasn't terrible. He does a lot of the work that Lukaku's not going to do. I'd still say I'd probably prefer, taking Rashford out of the equation. If I had my choice between Lukaku or Alexis up front, I'd probably say Alexis up front suits us better.
Yeah, I think as soon as Lukaku's back fit, we're going to play him, aren't we? I think we need to.
Yeah. We
need to accept that. Unfortunately, I still think he will score lots of goals for United, Lukaku, but I think he also causes problems in his. To be honest, I think in a game like today, Lukaku might have scored, but I think it's more in the games where you need the front man to be holding the ball up. He just represents so many problems, but
yeah.
Lukaku's
just
like
before
Matic,
that,
isn't he? They're both signed at the same time, and they're both players that Jose wants to keep at the club, keep in the 11. Young Cross. I tell you what, though, the big thing about that half is that free kick from Ashley Young was bloody brilliant, wasn't it? Hit the post, took the goalkeeper out of play. How Rashford, unluckily, doesn't. Well, I think he was a bit unlucky the way he blasted it. Some people are saying he should have just placed it, but you get excited, I suppose, when the ball drops to you 5 yards out on the volley and you blast it. And it's a great stop by Aki.
I think everybody in the comments, everybody on the ground, United supporter will tell you that they would have done the same thing. So, just unlucky that it got blocked. Oh, nobody following that in because that was a big time mix up. Ake almost putting a United player in.
So about 10 minutes to go. Impressed with Lindelof, says MB Gaming. Yeah, look, he's got to do it week in, week out. But the thing is, the more he does it week in, week out, the more confident he will get. Lingard trying to thread Martial in there. Goal kick. Gaylord says Matic man of the match. That's what happens when you watch a match on teletext. I do think United sort of miss a sort of... I know Matta's meant to do that and he didn't have that game today, but I just think United do sort of miss somebody who's a little bit more creative from the sort of midfield area. I know people say, well, Pogba...
We could have had Fred on, but I just think in a game like this too, because we haven't been really at the races in the second half.
Is that another save from De Gea? Another save from De Gea. We've rode our luck. I mean, Bournemouth have rode their luck as well. That Rashford shot, but They has made so many saves today.
Yeah, just getting to that stage in the game
Yeah, I'm
where
starting to get nervous now, Dan. We need to win this game.
we're gonna have to start doing something. I was just gonna say there. Today's one of those games where you don't mind bringing in a Fellaini or a Lukaku in because they're very small at the back. Last 10 minutes, start pumping in some crosses, not long ball, but just get the ball wide. And you know what? I was just watching before there when Martial looks up. The only guy he's got in the box is Rashford or Lingard, who are not the biggest. So.
Well, Ashley Young's in trouble here. I think he's going to get booked for chucking their player on the floor.
Yeah. I would like to see Rashford, Martial, Lingard. I'd like to see them. I mean, I know Rashford's not really a wide player, but I'd like to see them switch in and out of their positions every once in a while just to give the defenders something different to think about because they could all really play across that front line, that front three. I guess Lingard probably the least out of the three of them. But it just becomes so predictable then, they keep, putting it down Martial's side and then he has two defenders there and then Rashford going through the middle would just be good if they would, mix it up a little bit, switch it up a couple minutes just to give them something different.
Gaz Elliott saying this is pathetic. I mean, to be honest, I don't think we've created anywhere near enough chances. I mean, I know Herrera had a couple of long shots. And the Ashley Young chance came from a free kick. I mean, yet again, United have struggled to create chances, and that's something that we continually seem to do. But a draw's not good enough. You've got to push for this. Got to push for this. Hi, Ganesh. Max Appleyard says goal 87 minutes for Rashford. Well, we'll all wait for that then. I'll take any bloody goal at this. Shaw 1-on-1. Quezzy, you're right. Yeah, that was a good chance. It's just a shame it's Luke Shaw.
Yeah, off the layoff from Martial. It was a really nice interchange, but couldn't finish.
Pogba tried a shot blocked by Bournemouth.
I think he actually kicked it into the back of Lingard.
Rashford's getting a bit of stick. Merton Mullins and Rashford on loan, hopefully. I think he's got no confidence, says Carlos. We need a quality forward.
When was the last time Rashford scored? Been a little while, right?
I can't think when Rashford last scored for United, actually. Anyone answers on a postcard in the live comments? Well, about 5 minutes to go. Bournemouth have got a long throw.
Yeah, again, shouldn't be getting beat in the air on these. Much bigger than them.
And, we did, but it ends up in De Gea's hands. Goes for a long kick. And Aki is there. Come on, United. Push for the win. Let's get it done. We need the 3 points here today. He scored against West Ham, apparently. Lots of people saying.
Oh, right, yeah.
I thought we lost 3-0 to West Ham.
3-1, yeah. He, I think it was off a set piece or kind of like a rebound came out to him.
I think I've wiped my mind of everything from that West Ham performance, to be honest.
That was when it was 2-0 and then they went on. He came on, made it 2-1, and then they scored.
Yeah,
3.
he came on straight away and scored, didn't he? And then that defence splitting pass that made us look like a pub team. They went and made it 3-1.
Yeah, but that's an eternity ago, for a forward. I mean, not getting the minutes or whatever. Gotta be putting in a couple more goals than that. That was third or fourth game of the season.
Yeah.
Not really pushing for it here, Mark. I'm not seeing much that's gonna. It's looking like it's gonna fizzle out for a draw.
I think he's scared to lose, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's kind of what I was saying at the half. I said I don't think that Bournemouth are going to come out and be as attacking as they were in the first half. It's up to us to go bring the game to them, and haven't really done it.
In its simplest of forms, the reality is that if we don't win this game, then Bournemouth stay 3 points ahead of us. So you've got to, after 10 games, you've got to start looking at that sort of thing. And if we're saying we want to be top 4, but we can't even get ourselves above Bournemouth when we've got the opportunity to go above Bournemouth, then you're in trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is game 10, so
as well.
Almost a quarter of the, just over a quarter of the way through the season.
I've won it back anyway.
Just not seeing where they're going to get a goal from. That's not good enough by Rashford.
I'd say on the balance of the play. Oh, Lingard. I thought he was going to do it. What he does. What a chance. Again, I was going to say on the balance of play, you'd probably say a draw is about fair for both teams, but I don't care about fair.
No, yeah, these are the games you got to win. I was just going to say, yeah, probably it is a better reflection of the game because they were by far the better team in most of the first half, but.
Good chance for Lingard, that. Probably just not sharp enough, I suppose.
Yeah, he's trying to drill it. I think it's
a bit end-to-end now. They've got to be a little bit careful here. Bournemouth on the attack as well. Into the 89th minute. They're probably thinking a draw. This is not good enough. We've got to win this. Come on. I think they've got a corner here. Not United as well.
Yeah.
This is not good.
9 to 10.
Draws are so frustrating because you don't get this total anger of a loss, but you don't get it's 2 points dropped, which is a lot for United at this point. But I just think whatever happens in this game, Bournemouth have had a lot of chances. We've had a few chances, but tactically, I think Mourinho's just been poor. I just think it's been so unsustained, really. I think we should have had a go at them a little bit more. I think looking at the way Bournemouth play, they do play the 4-4-2. They do push up, but if you get between their lines, you can really get a 4-B-4 against their back four, and we've just not done it enough. They're just showing the Lingard chance here again. Nice setup by Rashford, and he needs to put his foot through that and not try and pass it. Substitution, 4 minutes to be added on. So United are going to have to do this very, very late. We've done it late before. We can do it, but we're going to have to get our bloody socks on here.
Yeah, I think if anything, it'll have to come from a set piece because I just don't see an open play at this stage in the game. They're probably going to be having, 7 or 8
Playing not to lose again, says the logical
men
result.
men behind the ball. Yeah,
Well, Matic has basically been babysitting the back four all game. I mean, do you need to do that against Bournemouth? Have they done that? Here's a chance. Come on, Pogba. Good play. Yes! Get in! Rashford! 2-1! Manchester United win it right at the end. Pogba with the cross. And, I mean, Rashford seemed to take ages to get it in. But get it in he did! Have some of that. People are running on the pitch. Mourinho doesn't even react. Looks a bit miserable. We've probably made a lot of work of it. Bournemouth, architects of their own downfall. But sit down. Lovely bit of play by Pogba. Cross comes in. And Rashford's there to win it, Dan. We felt we would win it. It's taken a long time for it to happen, but absolutely fantastic from United.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I was just saying there. I don't know where a goal's coming, an open play, but sometimes it takes something like that, a mad scramble, chested it down, felt like he had the ball at his feet for 20 years.
That's what I mean. It was a bit like the one that he'd missed before.
Yeah, it looked like it bounced up and maybe even hit him on the arm, or so much going on. But who cares? Back of the net. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it comes up, skips up. It's a missed clearance there, and then a whole open net to score into. Oh yeah, Mourinho did have a reaction there.
He did. Yeah,
briefly.
I've just seen that. Yeah.
Brief.
Right, I've got to change my match reaction stream now because I had something else.
Yeah, that's big. That's big, though.
Well, we needed to win that game. We needed to win this game, and I think that's... We've not been good, but...
Nah, but it doesn't... Who cares?
Yeah. Sometimes you've got to win when you're playing badly, haven't you?
Yeah, it's could be in again here. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good for the mentality too. For the players, man. You come out not playing great, get another win. That's really should have 12 points out of the last 4 games. But to take 10 out of the last 12 is, it's a positive and it's a plus for a team such as ours. So good for him too. Big for Marcus to get that goal.
Updating the match reaction stream, everybody.
Just got to see it out. Because they might still have another chance in this. They got the ball wide now.
Well, he's going to have to blow up in a minute, ref. Come on.
Yeah, last time Bournemouth lost at home was last season to United in April. Hadn't lost at home since then. So, yeah, but I felt they were due. Felt they were due a loss at home. I just didn't think it would be as close as this. I thought they were due an ass kicking, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get the win, even if it's ugly.
Who would you give as your man of the match, Dan? Because that's the end of the game.
Yeah, tough. Man of the match, I'd probably say I would have to give to Lindelof. I think played very well. Martial played well in patches. I don't think anyone really stood out the whole game, but I'd probably have to give it to Pogba. Made the assist for the last goal. Really played well in the second half. Midfielder. Everything kind of runs through him, so I'd say either him or Lindelof. Actually, De Gea made a ton of saves, so...
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah.
Any of them three.
When you get a win like that so late on, it's like your mind is all over the shop, and but without a doubt, I think De Gea was absolutely superb as well. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Dan. Really appreciate it. And we got a bit of excitement there at the end, which is always important.
Absolutely. Happy to help. Glad to get 3 points in the bag. Last time I did a watch along with you, it was a late winner at Newcastle. So if you need a late winner, you know who to call.
Good omen, Dan is with the late winners. Thanks for coming on, pal. I'll speak to you again soon.
Absolutely, brother. Everybody subscribe. We're almost at 300K. Mark, have a great day, fella. Big win for United.
Cheers, pal. Speak to you soon.
All right, take care, fella. Yep.
Please do. We're going to do the match reaction. Sorry, I was a little bit quiet for the last couple of minutes because I was having to readjust the match reaction stream. But the link is in the video description. We'll be talking about the game there. Always nice to get a little bit of a late goal as well. Look, I still think there's an element of realism, of course, that we need to speak about. I mean, to be honest with you, if we hadn't got that late goal, in fact, let's talk about it on the match reaction. Link to the video description. I'll be live with you there in 60 seconds time. I'll speak to you about that there. See you in a moment.